what a... I don't know where I was going with that sentence, but it just stopped, so... What is your name now? Are you mechanically dog shit again? Okay, yeah.
I had to bring it back for the anniversary.
The anniversary?
Oh fuck, it wasn't June. Sad. It was July. Oh well.
Why can't I ping?
Oh, they drafted. Fuck.
Oh shit. Well, we might just be a little late. I'm trying to make a post really quick.
It's fine.
It's-
There's a Twitch, or no, sorry, there's a lack of Twitch.
Why can't I at Neon anymore? I don't understand. I literally could at Neon last time I did this, but now I can't? The role's just gone?
Upset.
What if I like at Neon host and then delete the word host? Nope, that doesn't work. Oh, it did add Neon. Okay, sick. Okay. I need this.
You got it anyway.
Well, apparently if you just leave it as at Neon without like doing the tagging thing, it just does the tagging thing anyway. I'm having a real
That's
struggle
odd.
to just copy and paste this link. Whatever. Okay. And then I think I have the scoreboard flip, but I'm gonna flip it over in a second. And then it'll be on stream. Okay, that draft is live, but they're not on the right side, so you gotta hold on.
We're doing good. I'll catch you guys up real quick. Twitch, Katarina, Senna, Udyr, Akshan, Shen off the board, and we have B1 Wukong because B1 Wukong is happening.
There we go. Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is week 9 of the MetaShift Neon Division. Neon Division. I'm Maris. My co-caster is Oath. Rodham 6-3, 5-3. My God, we have incredibly scuffed this intro. Go ahead, just talk about the game, and then I'll do things later.
There's a game? Right, yeah. Diana is being picked. I kind of expected B1 Diana, to be honest with you. But Wukong, you know, is Wukong also flexible. Kaisa. One of the AD carries who survived the durability patch quite well.
Yep.
And I think is now somewhere near the top of the pile-ish.
Worth noting, we're on the last night of 5-10, or 5-10? 12-10. Jesus, I'm really with it today. I haven't even taken my nighttime Benadryl, so we're really vibing. That's a Caitlyn Lux lane, and that's a lot of poke. I'm assuming that it's Lux support, because I don't know that you would value Lux mid high enough to pick it that early. Could theoretically flex it, but you know, it's definitely support, right?
Almost certainly. And the answer is going to be Nautilus, which feels appropriate considering that you've already kind of committed to dive in your first 2 picks, which feels odd to say, but it's Diana Kaisa, so...
Yeah, you have a dive comp setup, and they picked the Caitlyn into that, so it's going to be kind of interesting to see how well Caitlyn can navigate that. Lux doesn't offer the most peel, the most support for that champion.
No, not in particular. And I don't think you're really getting like quote-unquote peel from anywhere else. Even if you toss Wukong into the jungle, you're at most getting a full tank out of top lane.
Yeah, Talia Nocturne, just going to knock some junglers off the list. Although that Diana could definitely be jungle. It is... this team loves to flex Diana between Scrams and Death Lotus, so I'm not going to read too much into that, but we'll get rid of Kiana as well, and Maldarok Phytamus going to be sitting down as well. Yeah, shoutouts to Hot Damn Jam and Rockcool27 for the follows. Appreciate that. While we have a second. All right, we've kind of settled in now. We're not panicking, trying to fix our stream. We're into this. So you would assume, yeah, top lane not to show your flex pick off, and the Mordekaiser, something that Saints played quite a bit of and is okay against the Wukong in top lane, and pretty okay generically.
Yeah, generally just a good character right now, has a pretty high win rate, does fine into most of the people who liked the durability patch, so...
Alright, HPU gonna show us the set, and then Kale immediately. Alright. That's a couple of things to think about.
Yeah, so we're thinking it's Set or Kale get their preferred matchup by just pretending one of them can mid lane, because both of these are like certified top laners, right? Kale's probably a little bit better mid than Set is, but not by a lot.
Kale's just a scary champion on this path. Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
I like that. All right, so the Kled for Saint, that's a comfort pick, something that he'll probably feel pretty comfortable on against the Set or the Wukong or the Kale. Presumably not the Wukong. We're kind of tagging the Wukong as the jungler in this situation.
We also could just have Lux mid and Set as supporting for Caitlyn, which I feel like is super bad because they have antithetical goals in bot lane.
Yeah, that I don't feel like you get a whole lot of value out of Set support in this game. Like typically you're looking for one person that you have to peel and then you drop them on the rest of their backline. And this is not that. This is like five people diving on you.
Yeah. Like, if there was only one or two people to peel away from Caitlyn, then that's that, you know, dropping the showstopper on somebody is pretty decent, especially if that person diving has got any health whatsoever.
Well, now we'll watch our second draft phase go off. Again, welcome officially. Pride Month, we're doing donations for every kill. We're up to like $1.35 or some ridiculous amount between everybody per kill, which is absolutely insane, number one. And number two, I have a feeling that people are going to regret that at the end of the month. But we'll keep an eye on that one. Masters team chipped in 43 kills last night, which brought our donation total up to $70.95. And now we'll see what Harvest can do with their first of probably like 6 or 7 games that you'll play this month for Harvest. Because you've got this, you've got MSL playoffs, and you've got Aegis. Harvest has got a busy month ahead of them.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. This match is the last one of the regular season. Rodham taking on High Point University, and it's 5-3 for Return of the Middlesticks, 1-6 for High Point. High Point can really play spoiler though. They've got 2 games this week that could really flip some of these standings on their head. And then I'm pretty sure if they win both games, they'd be in the running for the gauntlet spot, because they just have such a real funky playoff situation. Basically, your top 4 seeds are clinched for playoffs. Rodham should be in that group regardless. I'm like 90% sure that we're locked. And then your next one, your 5th seed, uh, has to win a gauntlet. Okay, let me read this. I'm just going to read this. First through fourth seed advance to playoffs. Fifth, sixth, seventh, and the wild card will play in a gauntlet to fight for the last remaining spot. And the wild card is either the 8th, ninth, or 10th place team, but it's solely dependent on the performance in each of the team's last 4 matches. So if you win 2 of your last 4 games, you're probably doing pretty well compared to your 8th and ninth spot teams, even if you're last place. So you could sneak in on that wild card spot and then win the gauntlet, I guess, and qualify for playoff. It's a mess.
I mean, I kind of like gauntlet systems where if you're a team who takes a while through the split to really find your rhythm and get good synergy. You start stomping your last 3 matches and you end up close to a relatively even score. That should be rewarded. It does get a little bit convoluted trying to figure out all of the potential endings to a regular season when you have something like that in the mix.
Yeah, I see both ends of it in that I don't think it's the if your ultimate goal is to determine the best team throughout like using the regular season as your litmus test, it doesn't do a very good job of that, but it prevents people from FFing, and that's commendable, actually. So, all right, we're below 20 seconds on the second draft, so we can say that our spots have settled in. We've got Wukong jungle, Set top, Kale mid, Lux support. Nothing really surprising coming out of our OTM, but this is where we've ended up. What do you like? What do you dislike about these matchups?
I think the jungle matchup is kind of interesting. I'm not sure exactly how well early Mordekaiser with no items does into Wukong. Like, I think you probably just want to avoid Scuttle Crab fights. Wukong's a scary character. Having played the Set Kled matchup a lot, I'm not a huge fan. Like, Set has a really hard time lining up W into Kled, and that's kind of what you're playing for. Also, the Kled lane is just so aggressive that sometimes if you're not careful, he can even outpace some of the regen that you get by being Set, so...
Yeah, and Kled's really gated by his W cooldown, right?
Yeah.
And his W cooldown, I believe, is shorter than Set's full combo early on. So he can go in and like aggressively trade if he wants to.
And it's easier to do that as Set in that lane than it is to just try and take like short auto trades and wait for Kled to get you to half and all in you, because then you're in a situation where you don't have a choice but to hit your W, and it's not a situation you always want to be in.
So talk to me about Mordekaiser jungle. I haven't seen a whole lot of it. What does it do well? I guess I'll start there.
It actually has pretty decent clear. The passive is just really good at stuff like that, and it feels like a really intentional decision by Riot to have the passive be something you can use on jungle camps and have it actually proc, because they could have locked him out of that role entirely by just making it a champions only thing. But because of the passive, its clear is not bad. It does everything else that Mordekaiser wants to do, which is just be something that you can't approach almost ever. And then at 6, you can walk in and make any lane from like bot lane, for example, from a 3v2 to a 2v1 and 1v1 separately. I've liked the pick a lot. I think it's underutilized.
Yeah, I haven't seen it this patch. That doesn't mean it's not good, of course. I have played ARAMs almost exclusively. I did play 2 Flex Q games the other day. Shout out to the Dread Boys for losing both of those for me. Really appreciate that. Oh, it wasn't even Dread. It was the Surprise Party team. Never mind. Shout outs to them. They're probably not watching. Maybe they are.
Big unlucky.
We're about to load into game number 1. Did want to show, I'm going to hit enter on this message. I made some animated emotes, and they're pretty funny. So, like, yeah, if you want to sub for those or use them, do that, because I think they're hilarious.
I was trying to tab back before the spectate popped, and then it popped, and now it's eating all of my computer's RAM. So I can't tab out right now. Crying.
That sounds about right.
Ah, there we go. It's loaded, and now I can see. Oh, I do like those. Those are nice. Huge.
Yeah, I really like the shake on the gun. That's, I think, a really solid emote. But
Yeah.
Cog
Yeah,
Slide
that's good.
seems very. I mean, it's just Pog Slide. Like you can't go wrong with that one.
Hmm.
And then Clown Rave. Anyway, Illuminous is the only one getting in on. Oh no, Explosive is as well. So we got 2 in on the Pride Month icons. Good theming. And I've loaded into the black hole, so um, I'll let you know, I guess, when I can click on the bar to start the game. I'm assuming you're having a similar problem.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was waiting for it to like catch up with itself, and it doesn't look like it's going to.
No,
I'm
what
gonna.
you have to wait for it to start, and then you click on the time bar.
Oh, that's top tier. There we go.
We're
Thanks.
expert at navigating the spectator client spaghetti. So sped up to current time.
Same.
I really
Should
like
be
that
23.
Duvranga had that split second where he wanted to go back and grab his trinket that he forgot, but then it automatically gives it to you, and now we're paused.
Hmm. Love that. Huge fan. Already kind of did the rundown for the top side of the map. Kale should be looking to do absolutely nothing in the early game, so that's kind of a sleeper lane for mid. Bot's kind of interesting because you like you want to give the advantage over to the team that has engage and roughly like slightly higher damage, but Caitlyn Lux is one of those combos that you
Oh,
don't get to like play the game.
usually you can see like the R's before it resumes, but I did not in that case. Now we're at the resume pause. Shoutouts to Atlas for the follow. I won't interrupt the cast with follows for the rest of the game, but we're sitting watching 5 players just try to walk in a straight line currently. All right. Well, almost had enough
There we
time
go.
to go ahead and throw out a bet for if Geo-based would have to flash or not. And Matsuro, is he going to go for it? Where's the hook? There's the hook and the flash away from Geo-based.
Well, that would have been a fun prediction to win double my points on. But yeah, so even then, I'm not positive that you can really give the early advantage over to Kaisa Nautilus, but having flash down on Caitlyn, pretty good.
Ooh, Luminous I
You
think
we kind of
spotted
like
them,
that.
but Scrams is going to come in and hit her with a mace, and Luminous is fine. Do you think they're named Luminous because they made Lux?
That's a good question. Um, I'm gonna go with yeah. That's my guess.
No one consult OPGG.
No, we're leaving that one up
We're
to
going
the
blind. Yeah.
yep,
We'll judge it based on how well the game goes.
facts. We will determine whether or not you're a Lux main based off of this very isolated performance.
Yeah, one game to determine if you made a champion or not. That's like one of those. I always hate those scenarios. Gun to your head. You got to pick one champion to win a game with. Who you pick? Like, why?
Malphite,
Who's who's putting a gun
Malphite.
to my head and telling me to win a League of Legends game? What kind of
I
sadistic person?
no, see, listen, you're thinking about it the wrong way. There's only the question. The question exists in a vacuum.
The answer is Malphite.
The answer is Malphite.
Good trading by Saint early on. staying on the lizard thus far, and kind of interesting. I thought going that aggressive at level 2, you'd opt for a W and just start smacking set around, but went for the joust instead. He's the set main though, or the set main, the Kled main though. Ooh, now not gonna hit level 3. Explosive gonna get a little advantage off of that one. Hit him with the haymaker, and Saint will now have to try to farm up some fury. 2 autos away.
That's actually kind of nice for Saint. Explosive had the speed from the Q. He could have definitely gotten the second hit off, which is way more damage, and still landed the W.
Oh, he just barely gets the remount off, and in comes Scrams. Even able to flash W, he gets first blood. Explosive doing pretty well. Scrams just trying to trade it back out, and he'll get RTM on the board with the trade kill.
All in all, that's not bad. This wave should stay there, and Saint already has the TP out, so it could be worse for him. Impressive that Explosive was able to actually pick that up for the first blood. I definitely thought after the flash he was just gonna be fumble it.
Apologies for the entire stream. My seasonal allergies have just been completely kicking my ass this year. I don't know why. I haven't changed any of my allergy relief medicine or anything. I'm just dying. So, apologies. I'll try to blow my nose as quietly as possible in the background while Oath is talking. But it'll happen. Alright. Roomba Whack is hanging around the mid lane. He's trying to find something onto Death Lotus, but Death Lotus has spotted him out twice in a row now.
That's a fun name. I like that name.
Sometimes they're winners. Honestly, shoutouts to High Point University, the Panthers. Their mascot, Prowler the Panther. And also having 5 names that are all, decent to cast. Kind of fun to say. You take those.
Yeah, no, we like this. There's a good healthy spread. You've got longer ones that don't suck to try and pronounce, aren't full of symbols.
Yeah, Matsuro looking for the hook. Gonna find Geo-based without his flash. Get a lot of damage through from Duvranga. Scrams is here just to try to help clean up. Duvranga needs to finish off this kill before anybody takes it. Unfortunately, Matsuro does, but they get the kill regardless in the bottom lane and can get a little advantage off of out of getting Geo-based flash early on. Saint's gonna get dismounted again. Oh, just able to get out of that haymaker range with the pocket pistol.
That's really good. Unfortunately, Bob jumping off of Skarl means he can't take advantage of Explosive's low health, so Explosive just gets to sit there and be set, and he's back up to half HP. Blink and you'll miss it, and he's half HP again.
Yeah, Saint sticking around. I think maybe overestimated. Ooh, one auto not into the minions, but does get Skarl back. Now Explosive is level 6, has the Showstopper. I couldn't think of that for a second. Showstopper feels like it's kind of weird to time on Kled, right? Because
It sucks.
Yeah. You can only do so much damage while he's dismounted. If you dismount him and then grab him, I guess that's probably ideal, but then he can just auto you back. Feels like you have to hit a really weird timing to make it super valuable.
So the ideal timing is actually to have Showstopper do its maximum damage while dismounting Kled. The problem is he's gonna have pocket pistol as soon as that happens, so you want to do that and still have E up when you do it. It's really hard to get that exact scenario to happen, because every time you want to engage on Kled, you're pretty much forced to use E to hold him down to do your initial damage.
Is this a Bork first from him?
For explosive, that would make sense.
Or is that those theoretically also build into a Gore Drinker, I think.
It's actually should be Stride. His Gore Drinker mythic is kinda cheeks now.
Whatever.
Also,
they build
Stride
the same
would
way,
be,
I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
But, yeah.
Stride would be a lot better in this game specifically. I'd be kind of disappointed to see him go Gore. I don't think he gets a lot of value out of it here.
Alright, Death Lotus level 6 has Moonfall available, but you still have the Divine Intervention as well from Fatal Rogue, who is Kale at level 6, so is now kind of a champion. on the scale of being a champion to being the best champion in the game. Everyone get your timers out for level 16. I guess 16 isn't as important as 11. 11 feels like the big spike, right?
Oh, 16 is like the end of the game. 11 is the actually a good champion. Like scary champion, 2-item level 11 KO problem. It feels like hitting level 16 on Kale is not as important as some of the other 16 champions. Like 16 Kassadin is actually required for I feel like required for some late game stages now.
Well, it's been a pretty quiet game thus far. The 2 kills to 1 for ROTM. Neither side's looked at a dragon, neither side's looked at the Herald, which did just spawn about 30 seconds ago. It feels like we're much later into the game than we are. We're only 8:30 in, but I guess just the Kale clock kind of speeds up the time frame, right? Because Fatal Rogue has been pretty much untouched in mid lane, hasn't been forced off. Sitting there now, level 7, starting to work on her first item.
Yeah, looking all right. Scram's not gonna find anything in the bot lane. There is a Wukong in that bush. Roomba Whack found his way down here. I think may look for this gank after
Ooh,
Scram's recalls.
that hook from Matsuro was probably the last ditch effort there, and now the recall from Scrams means that in comes Roomba Whack. He's got Cyclone available. Duvranga and Matsuro trying to get out. There's the immediate Cyclone, pops him up. Duvranga trying to get away, uses his heal, but the laser from Luminous finds the kill.
It's really difficult to do anything about that as Duvranga, but the only thing you can't do against Lux is walk in between wall and tower like that. It gives you 0 options to dodge. Divine Intervention gonna trade here for the ult, but
Ooh, the
Fatal
Ignite?
Rogue,
Oh, Death Lotus with
yeah.
the solo kill. Really well played. He knew how much damage he needed after the Divine Intervention had worn off. Nicely done by him. The Dragon going to be picked up by HPU in response, and Scrams has already started working on the Rift Herald, which might be a little bit tenuous here as Explosive's going to walk in, spot him doing it. I don't think he can really challenge this. If it's just a 1v1, he can, but in comes the Kled, 4,000 health. Scrams is just de-leashing this. He doesn't have Smite. What is he doing? He's just waiting on it. The Rift Herald is picked up by Saint, and Scrams just wins the 1v1 against... Alright.
Honestly, if Explosive had just used the W on the Rift Herald, I don't think he knew that Scrams was gonna smite it. But, yeah, I don't think you ever contest that, right? Like, your Wukong just backed after Dragon, your mid laner just died, is not going to TP for you because it's down, and would have to TP to a tower, so that's not a consideration. Yeah, you never contest that. That's a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah,
because
you can
now
walk
you're
in
gonna
and
lose
look at
plates
him.
to Kled.
Yeah, you can walk in and look at him, and that's about as much as I think you can really do. You know, maybe get a cheeky steal, but you can't commit for anything. You can't stick around long enough for Kled to actually get there. Anyway, back to the mid lane. Death Lotus and Fatal Rogue gonna trade it on out. Ooh, didn't hit the Crescent Strike, so Fatal Rogue will get a couple extra autos back in.
Yeah, actually maybe a little bit lucky that Death Lotus didn't hit that Crescent Strike, because that feels like a go button, and Roomba Whack was just standing in mid lane underneath the tower, walked out from base at that point in time, so...
Yeah, Death Lotus really... he's got to know that his ult is on just a quite a bit shorter cooldown than the Divine Intervention. That's really a gap you want to take advantage of if you can. Saint pulls Explosive in for one tower shot. Ooh, just barely gets dismounted at the end of that one. That's a little unlucky for him. So can't continue to push forward, but we'll get these minions underneath his tower.
Yeah, and that Grit is going to start working overtime for Explosive. I don't think that's actually what it's called. Grit is Graves' passive. It's Pit Grit. It's a specific kind. Silly me.
Yeah, it's... Oh, this is pretty good from Explosive. Oh, Saint able to get the remount. I don't know that he can turn it, though. Kled is a silly champion, though. Now gets dismounted. The pocket pistol for the solo kill in top lane. That was so close. Now the teleport in from Fatal Rogue. They're looking for something bottom, but there's just no CC between these champions and bottom. Scrams is going to walk in and take an auto attack from Geo-based, but that's going to be all that's happening. Scrams looked like he walked in for a gank initially. Roomba kind of called him out. They called in Fatal Rogue, but they're not able to find anything. Just going to be able to stop the aggression from RTM.
Man, Explosive has to be kicking himself after that. After that one, Lil Saint gets the remount and not tracking the cooldown. Explosive instantly goes for the W, not knowing that Joust is up, and misses out on another round of probably his best damage at this point. Now that because he doesn't have a mythic yet. Really well timed by Lil Saint though to get the remount. Gets the pocket pistol for the kill, and I think maybe a total of 25 health to his name.
Yeah, that was, in the words of one video game donkey, not even close, baby. Have people still watched those? Like, is that a,
How dated is like League references getting to the point where they're 11, 12 years old is kind of scary to think about.
Yeah, do players who've started since then know the video game donkey references? Are they so
Because
timeless that they've transcended, or
I hope so, because he quit League in like 2016, 2017. So yeah, you have to go back a ways to find his League videos. Now we're starting to get to a game state where the aggression from Explosive, yeah, he can just keep doing this until there's a commitment. Hey, look, a commitment.
Saint? Yeah, Saint still wanted it. In comes the showstopper. Gets the remount immediately. Explosives in tower range in the second joust. Saint punishing Explosive again for just getting a little too thirsty for the man on top of the lizard. That was a really
That right
weird
there.
sentence. Brand new sentence.
Brand new sentence. New
Roomba
call?
Roomba going to be spotted out. Ooh, that claw just grabbed him, but wasn't able to pull him back far enough because of the terrain. But in comes the Hextech Dragon, and RTM should grab that one out and even up the Drake count, or at least look at
That
it.
right there was a truly perfect example of
Roomba going for this one. Death Lotus is still hanging around. Scrams is going to pull him into Cyber Brazil. And now the Favela's not treating Roomba very well. Gets pulled in by the Claw. Burning down to the passive. Pops back out just in time to die. And Scrams says, thank you very much for coming to contest my dragon. We'll start that right back up.
Yeah, I don't know if Roomba was necessarily on the same page as everyone else on his team, because bot lane had not moved over yet.
Ooh,
And
steal here maybe from Geobased and Luminous. They have a lot of long-ranged abilities, and they get it with the final spark. But are going to pay for it. Death Lotus is coming in. Duvranga flies in from the side. He gets exhausted. Luminous is already down. Death Lotus gets the Mario Kart double dash, and Duvranga finishes him off underneath the tower. Scribe's playing bodyguard just to make sure Fatal Rogue can't get in, and ROTM gets 2 more on the dive.
that one's new, the Mario Kart double dash. That's fantastic. I love that.
The best Mario Kart, by the way.
Hands down, far and away. It's not close.
64
And I spent
is
most
decent.
of my time playing the Wii version, like base Wii. That was good, but double dash, no contest.
I have never owned a Wii. Maybe that's...
Oh, you missed out.
I missed the Wii and Wii U. Like, I had friends that owned it. Like, I've played the games. It never felt quite as good as playing Mario Kart Double Dash on my GameCube, though. 64, pretty good as well. The battle maps on 64, probably the best ones, but... Mario Kart Wii goated, says Firelight. Okay. Death Lotus and Fatal Rogue fighting. Now Fatal Rogue level 11. This gets a little bit more tenuous in the mid lane. Still has the Divine Intervention, but it's going to cost him his Metsuro. Just comes in with the ultimate at just the right time. Death Lotus picks up the kill with the Crescent Strike. And that's 10 on the board now for Return of the Middlesticks. And they'll look maybe at the second Rift Herald, maybe a mid lane tower. The world is their burrito.
It looks like Saint's sticking around for this. Yeah, he's got that tower. That's his tower now.
It might not have been his tower if Caitlyn had hit the minions rather than Kled, but I also don't know that it matters.
maybe not. This Rift Herald might also not matter. You know how I feel about second Rift Herald. However, we do have a dragon coming up in 3 minutes, and I don't actually know off the top of my head if that's enough time for Eye of the Herald.
I,
You get
th-
what, 240, right?
I,
Yeah, it
th- I
is.
thought it was 230 or 245. Yeah,
Yeah, it is 240.
that's strangely specific, but okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's not a yeah. You know what? We'll roll with it. It's fine.
All right, first item is pretty much finished up across the board. You can see our TM out a little bit ahead of the curve in terms of that. Saint actually is working well on his way to his second item, and Explosive just now finishes up his Gore Drinker. How do you feel about that?
Okay, there are some silver linings, right? Almost everybody on Return of the Middlesticks is melee, so you're gonna get, on average, a little bit more value than you normally would. But Stride is so good now. It's fine.
Yeah. Nothing else looks particularly weird. All of it seems understandable. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow you don't go Riftmaker. I don't know. Fatal Rogue gets pulled in by the Claw, and now he's just getting beaten to death. The Sex Dungeon not kind to Fatal Rogue this time. And Scrams now has claimed his second victim with his ult. Is it
Yeah.
just called Death Realm? Is that the name of the ultimate as well? Realm of Death. Okay. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know the
Realm.
yeah, I don't
Hmm.
know like the explicit name of that. I've called it so many things, but I don't know that it's actually what it's named. Explosive is going to get caught here a little bit by Matsuro, trying to turn it around though, just fighting his way through, hits a big W onto Duvranga, but RTM still healthy. The teleport in from Saint. They pick up the kill on Explosive, and in comes the charge. They're looking for Roomba Whack. They'll hit his clone, dash on through. A huge hook from Matsuro. They'll follow it in. Duvranga not quite able to find that last auto. Gets shut down by Luminous. Saint is just diving for some reason. Why not? Fatal Rogue now is teleported in. They lose the tower. Fatal Rogue still just autoing through onto Scrams. The dash forward from Geobased. They're looking for any kills that they can find in Matsuro and Scrams. Oh, I thought Matsuro was going to get away, but then he didn't hit his hook on the terrain, and the last auto is enough from Geobase to finish him off. They finally finish off Shelly right before she charges into the inhibitor tower, but Death Lotus picks up the tower on the top side of the map. I think that's a recap enough. What'd you see?
Nothing of particular importance, honestly, other than Gore Drinker being bad on set. Um, that wasn't Gore Drinker's fault. Honestly, I was a little surprised at the lack of damage out of the fully charged W that he landed on Devranga. And then, he pays for going in on a, at that point, I think 3-0 Mordekaiser, but is now, of course, a 4-0 Mordekaiser.
Yeah, Scrams is having a pretty solid game on the Mordekaiser. Didn't have to really navigate anything scary early on, and has scaled very much into this game. Now starting his way on the dragon. This is maybe the one risk you run when you're jungle Mordekaiser. Oh, all right, they're able to secure that dragon. That got a little close. Explosive just meeting Kled again. Gets a little bear trap on a rope to the face, and they'll go ahead and disengage. If you use your ult, the dragon doesn't come with you. So if you're trying to do a smite fight, you can't like trigger pull on your ult. Unless you take the enemy jungler, in which case you're just making it an even worse 50-50 than it already was. But
Yeah,
I'm sure
especially into stuff like Luxult, it's definitely a very much worse 50-50 because I think that's the highest burst outside of Smite in this game.
yeah, maybe a set W, but yeah.
Maybe, and then Set has to be like in the pit for that and taking damage. It's yeah, it gets weird.
But yeah, definitely the Lux ult is a threat to steal, as we saw again demonstrated. But RTM secures their first Infernal Dragon. They'll be pretty happy if they can get 4 this game. I don't know that that's the win con that they necessarily want, because that would mean that Kale's hit level 16 probably, but that's where we might be headed. Explosive gets caught by the charge, but the hook from Matsuro is really focused onto Lux right now. Duvranga not quite able to find a whole lot of damage. Matsuro overextending. He is going to die eventually. Gets knocked down by the Cyclone. Saint and Duvranga being chased as well. Everybody here for high point. Roomba Whack picks up his first kill of the game, and now Saint trying to fight his way out, not quite able to find an equalizing kill. And that's 3 for nothing, but Screams and Death Lotus are just killing Baron right now.
Yeah, which is definitely a choice. I mean, I think uncontested, they actually get it done. There's no way that they anticipate that this is what's happening on the other side of the map. Sometimes the harvesting, which is what we refer to that, by the way, when the boys who are super far ahead go 0 for 3 in bot lane on a charge, that works out because everybody gets a Baron buff. Or, sorry, 2 people get a Baron buff. We didn't wait for the respawns.
Yeah, that was pretty close to not wait for it. I wonder if they were feeling a little threatened by Fatal Rogue potentially being in the area, but they didn't have the most
Maybe.
vision around.
I still feel like, I don't know, I saw like 8 seconds on at least 2 people. It's probably not going to end up mattering a whole lot for this early of a Baron. Just having the buff is enough, especially when you have it on at least somebody who can split push, so you can still go 4-1 with it if you want.
Yeah, make sure if you go die in a side lane again that you can't flip that into a Baron for high point and suddenly be at a disadvantage in the game. So that's nice. That's the big advantage of the Baron early on, is
Yeah.
that your opponent can't take it later. Maybe that's really bad. Duvranga's going to fall first in this fight, though. That's a really solid pick to start out with. Saint is just trying to set the front line. Death Lotus looking for his entry point. Scrams has pulled somebody into the Death Realm. It's Roomba Whack. He's trying to fight his way out. They lose Saint. Scrams is still continuing to fight with this monkey, able to take him down. Now he's a pretty big threat, but he can't finish anyone else off. It's 1 for 3 again.
That. Mm, you have to wonder what exactly Duvranga was doing that far up without anybody else, because when Explosive came in from the top side of the map, I don't think he even noticed he wasn't an enemy. Or he wasn't a teammate. Like, I'm pretty sure he saw the same colored health bars, like, oh, I didn't know we had set here, because then he just got E'd raw. Like, he was close enough to land that E before Death Lotus E'd himself, or tried to auto ult and dodge it, nothing.
Yeah, and Death Lotus wasn't able to really find a way in. Still has his ult up, still has Ignite. Wasn't able to find a way to commit onto any of those members of High Point that he could potentially kill. Maybe he finds it now. Oh,
Oop.
that was maybe a misclick.
Wait.
It's gonna work out though. Death Lotus has a lot of damage as it turns out. Now getting turned on though. Fatal Rogue trying to hit the Q. Can Death Lotus get away? He's got the shield. He's got a blast cone. Oh, but he walked back in. Matsuro gonna use the disengaging Nautilus ult, and that should get Death Lotus out. So, they pick the pocket, they get 1 kill, they lose the flash for it, but
I feel
all
like
things considered, that's okay, I guess.
I I don't know, man. I feel like Geobased saw Diana miss the ult and was like, okay, Diana has no more damage anymore, and didn't feel like using exhaust or flash. Um, yeah, Death Lotus definitely just getting away with murder there, quite literally.
Alright. Roomba Whack
But
is gonna come in. Oh, the red buff just spawned. Is our team gonna contest this, or are they gonna wait for Roomba Whack to walk in later?
they're
Does he
definitely waiting
feel
so
it?
that they can pick him
Oh, they
on
passed it off
Baron.
to Kale. Oh, now they see the monkey, but they only grab the clone. Now Scram's back over the wall. Explosive's going to run into Little Satan. This is just a mess. Death Lotus is mid lane. He doesn't have ult just yet back up, but Explosive and Fatal Rogue just chasing down Little Saint. The Dragon's been started on the other side. Matsuro is flanking on Nautilus. In comes the charge on one flank into Explosive. They've really set these battle lines pretty decently for a high point, but a big Divine Intervention. They pull the person back out. Geobased is the first one to die in this fight. Fatal Rogue now used his Divine Intervention on the target on the front line. They pulled Death Lotus back, but it didn't matter. It's just a fucking mess. And there's the Wukong as the last survivor for High Point University. It's somehow a 4 for 2? I don't know.
Uh, uh sure, I guess. What just happened? I think the reason that lasted so long is because Explosive started Showmaker as he got hit with the Kale ulti, and then he took
He took the Kale ulti over the wall.
yeah.
And then we lost track of him because the directed camera wanted to look on the bottom side of the fight. He killed Duvranga up there somehow, so I'm going to assume that it worked, kind of. But it
I
left.
think he told somebody else up there because Duvranga definitely died after that whole mess happened. Like, Saint came back from the bot side with charge, and then it was him and Duvranga against like 3 people.
I don't know, man. That was wild. It felt like an okay fight for High Point just based on how it started. Like the charge went into set. The Wukong was on the other side, like setting battle lines. They had both flanks kind of covered, and then it just kind of all collapsed. And I think the ult from Fatal Rogue actually drew him out of position, and that's where it all kind of collapsed back on HPU. They weren't able to reset their battle lines, and it left their two carries exposed. But I don't know. It was a wild fight. I might just be making stuff up at this point. Who knows? I could tell you anything about that fight, and you'd have to believe it. Except that you guys can rewind and I can't. But you know, it's two dragons for Rodham now. They're both infernal dragons, so that's kind of nice. And there's 3.5 minutes before another one. There's a Baron up in 30 seconds, and they're setting up some vision. Gonna get spotted though on that ward.
That's so nice for Luminous to be able to just toss out vision like that. I think it's an underrated aspect of Lux's kit, is just never having to check ever for any reason.
Yeah, level 16 now for Fatal Rogue. That's scary.
It's
We'll see if
happening.
the Kale carry can turn it around. Still kind of a rough spot though. 6,500 gold down at 29 minutes. 19 kills to be donated to charity.
Yeah,
Thus
definitely
far
not
for RTM.
ideal. One of the advantages that Return of the Middlesticks has going for them is that Scrams can just remove the Kale.
Scrams is also just by himself top lane. This is a 1-4 right now, and Scrams is nowhere near. Saint might get picked off. He's got the joust away from Explosive.
But they can't catch anybody.
They can't catch any. Saint gonna take the blast gun back over the wall. Now RTM has regrouped in the jungle. Oh, that was huge! That was potentially huge, and Death Lotus just didn't hit the E in the right order, it looked like. Explosive now gonna get a big ultimate back in. Everybody trying to peel now. Duvranga gets hit by everything on the backside, but he's able to kite back away. But the Kale is still relatively untouched. Now hits the ultimate. Now stuck with Scrams just fighting away. They get the blue buff, but it doesn't matter. Fatal Rogue trying to kite back away, but he dies to Death Lotus. Explosive still in the mix. Little Saint and Death Lotus trying to fight this one back through. Explosive falls, and it's just Luminous left now for High Point. Another mess of a fight.
I don't know, man. It feels so illegal that Death Lotus is able to mess up his ordering that badly, and the fight still doesn't go High Point's way.
He had a 5-man ult. He saw it in
Yeah.
his eyes, and then he just hit his buttons a little too quickly. I feel really bad for him. But
No, that's
at the same
tragic,
time,
because like that's the Twitter clip right there.
yeah, at the same time, he still got like 2 kills in that fight and still did a fuck ton of damage for no reason. But, you know, didn't hit the big highlight reel 5-man moonfall into the enemy team being wiped. So the game continues is, I guess, the real
Yeah,
stick of
the
it.
annoying part about fights like that is that they happen, and then nothing happens after them. Like it's just fights. I guess they lose mid-inhib. I don't know if that was already down or not.
No, they did get that. They got the
Yeah.
inhib tower and inhibitor in mid lane. And now, with 1 minute to go on this dragon, they might at least make a decision happen for these teams. If they want to handshake trade a Baron for a third dragon, that's not a good trade for the dragon team, ever.
Yeah.
But
Doesn't matter which side of the rift you're on or what the advantages are. Handshaking Baron for third drag is never the right call.
and yet, everybody's on the dragon side, and the Baron is left unmolested. That's a big amount of damage onto Duvranga. He's going to die for it, but maybe it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, because High Point can't really do a whole lot right now. Explosive has teleport, but he's up on the top side of the rift. I like the
Yeah,
look,
and not
though, from
having
Luminous.
Luminous kind of sucks because Lux has a deceptive amount of Dragon Pit control for the team that has to walk in, especially just being able to drop vision into the pit on cooldown, basically.
Yes, they're looking for the engage. Roomba Whack gets the Kale ult. That's pretty early. They're just trying to lock down Lil Saint. They will be able to finish him off to start out that fight. Geo-based gets that shutdown. Now Duvranga and Metzer are trying to kite away on that top of the fight. Duvranga going to eventually fall. They get the dragon, though. Scrams trades that one out for some of his teammates' lives. Gets pulled into the Death Realm. He's in there right now with the set. Big damage from that Haymaker. We're trying to keep track of what's going on. Scrams is going to win that one. Death Lotus now threatening from the side, able to get some damage down, but not quite able to finish off Fatal Rogue. Scrams is just buying time, not quite able to finish off Roomba Whack, and the fight kind of falling apart for ROTM. Fatal Rogue still just autoing through Matsuro. He's starting to finally get some of this damage up. Final spark into Ace in the hole. Oh, and the stop or the Zanya's should be enough. Not able to trap Death Lotus, trying to fight out, not quite able to finish off Fatal Rogue. And now that should be Baron for High Point. They've got super minions in their base though, so they have to navigate this one a little bit carefully.
Yeah, it's Baron, and 3,500 going to be 3,900 just as this Baron goes down. Basically, just shy of 4,000 gold in Fatal Rogue's pocket to finish up the rest of this build on his level 17 Kale. Things just kind of hit a tipping point. This is real scary.
Yeah, this is officially a scary Kale. They still have their 2 Nexus towers intact, which is an important trademark because now there's no shenanigans. You can't draw the Kale out of the base and then go backdoor the Nexus. It's going to take some doing now for ROTM. They're really looking at this this Infernal Soul point. They've got to get that.
Yeah, that is now it's the win con. It wasn't necessarily the win con before, but now I would argue, despite the gold lead, you're almost on the back foot unless you have a plan to deal with Kale.
I was going to say, I don't think it's the win con. I think it's your don't lose con at this point.
Yeah.
Because Kale is 3 items, 3.5, has the Quicksilver Sash. You can't even pull her into Death Realm, and can just win the side lane now.
Yeah, your side lane experience is now clear waves and hope Kale doesn't get to inhib before you can affect the map.
There's a lot of towers to go through for High Point as well. There's a lot of extra gold in this mid and top lane. If they're able to access it, they can flip that 2k gold lead right now. That's nothing. They can flip that back to an advantage here pretty quick. And Explosive's going to show us right away. Going to take down this top lane tower. ROTM is just hovering around mid right now, looking for anything they can. Geobased and Luminous. Luminous is going to get hooked. Matsuro and Duvranga going to go in. Luminous gets popped, but so does Matsuro on the backside. Scram's getting autoed off, and the Kale is here and makes her presence known. Death Lotus now finally here to stop this push on top side. Explosive takes a little chunk there from Death Lotus. Death Lotus just wins this, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Able to kill the set, but look at what's happening in mid lane. Fatal Rogue and Geobased and Roomba whacking away on the towers. They'll take down the inner tower and now work their way toward the inhibitor tower. And there's really no initiation possible because now your Diana doesn't have ult. Your Kled could maybe swoop in from the side, but he's working his way on a tower down there. You're going to lose your inhib in mid lane.
Yeah, and that feels like it's something that, like, you can maybe slow down, but with Baron up on level 18 Kale, you probably can't stop fully. Oh, they did complete that. It was a TP and not a recall, so that's why, if anybody couldn't see based on the camera, it wasn't that Duvranga didn't damage him.
Yeah, Infernal Dragon here in a minute 10. Can Saint find this pick or get picked himself? Either one would be kind of cataclysmic in this game, but not really going to commit to anything on either side. So mid lane now going to push in favor of High Point. That's all for lane states, right? Saint cleaned up that bottom lane tower, I guess, the last extra structure on the map, but this is
Return of Middlesticks doing a decent job of dropping vision for it early. This is the game coming up for them effectively. Because if you lose soul here, I don't know if you withstand another 5 minutes of not having Dragon Soul in your pocket.
Well, in comes the 5-man squad, the High Point University Panthers, walking their way in, going to clear out some of this vision, and they are tightly packed in this 5-man squad. They don't have vision really anywhere else except behind them, but now starting to extend out. Is this going to be a flank from ROTM? Scrams is by himself on this mid wave. He can turn it into a 1v1 if he needs to. But now the rest of the members of ROTM walking in. Saint going to get engaged on a little bit. Just some trading back and forth thus far. Explosive looking for that E. Not going to be able to pull in Matsuro or Little Saint. Scrams is just openly going for this inhib in the mid lane. He has no teleport. He's got no way to walk in. They're just gonna give this dragon for
They're
inhibitor?
handshaking inhib for the chance at Drag Soul. Hmm. Well,
That feels like they don't think they can fight Kale at all.
maybe. Or if it was anyone other than Scrams, then yeah, it's good.
Ooh, he couldn't
Uh,
find anything there. And now Fatal Rogue's just going to waste his time, and eventually Scrams is going to die at the end of this one. That's rough.
yeah, it's
124
also
before Baron spawns, and now it's going to be hard to set up vision.
also based on how quickly he died there. It wasn't very eventual. Like we're getting to a point where Geobase is starting to hurt too. 5, 5, and 10, but quite a bit of farm to his name, and yeah, suddenly this gold lead, we hit the 65k cap. Nothing matters anymore. Everybody's got their core items.
Death Lotus setting up a little flank, looking for that big engage. They're looking on to Matsuro, though. Roomba gets the knockups with the Cyclone, but Matsuro able to Spider-Man away to the wall. They're working their way onto the Nexus turrets. ROTM has to stand now. Death Lotus in. He hits nobody with the ultimate. Now gets pulled back away. Fatal Rogue is still full health, just autoing through the members of ROTM. Saint is on top of him. Can't quite... Oh, he does finish off the kill. Now gets remounted. Trying to fight his way back through Roomba. Duvranga trying to kite away from the Wukong, but they lose the Nexus in the process. And High Point University, with a big come from behind win, secure game 1.
Really, really good job from High Point. Just kind of turtling out the game. You at one point were down like 13-3, quite a bit of gold. You played to your advantages. You had Kale, which you set up for in draft, and yeah, you converted into the late game where you don't really have to worry about the team comp that Rodham has drafted.
All right, well, we'll set up for game number 3. Wow, I'm ahead of myself. Game number 2, and we'll be right back. AO X Craze. Thanks for the 14 months. Have I been doing this 14 months now? Jesus. Alright, we're back. Game number 2 between Return of the Middlesticks and High Point University. We're, Game 1 was a banger. I'm a little tired after that one. Oath had to step away for a second, so hopefully he'll catch right back up. And yeah, I've been doing it longer than 14 months. Oh my goodness. Alright, Auction. Senna gonna be banned. I don't think this is any change from last. I don't actually remember. We kind of flew through the early bans. But Udyr and
These
Twitch.
are no changes so far.
Alright, Udyr, Twitch, and the Kale. That's a change. I can identify that one. I couldn't tell you who they left up, but that's definitely a change. No Katarina, and Nocturne, first pick for Return of the Middlesticks.
So Return the Middlesticks banned Shen. That's who. So they left up Shen.
They left up Shen. Okay. They want to play Wukong Shen, Nocturne Shen, I imagine. Wukong gonna be locked in again for HPU. Nothing wrong with that. Rubawak was fine on that pick, and Lux again for Luminous.
Starting to lend credibility to that theory of ours. But also looked totally fine on it in the first game.
Yeah.
Even picked up a Baron Steel or a Dragon Steel among just playing well.
This feels like the obvious Shen lock in here, but RTM taking their time. Tristana. Theoretically a flex pick, although I'm pretty sure I've only seen Duranga play it. So, Rodham are picking Rodham champions. There we go. We're going to get Thresh. Where do you want to see HPU go now? With the Kale taken off the table? There's no other champion that's quite like Kale. Like, Kassadin's about as close as you get in terms of, like, the inevitability, but isn't as safe, isn't as ranged, you know? What do you do instead if you're High Point, if you want to try a similar game plan?
Well, I feel like your game plan is kind of the same game plan. Kale is a pressure absorb champion. You exist until you can start firing back. And there isn't like a direct parallel to it, but I feel like you're getting the same game plan by picking Wukong, which is obviously probably a comfort champion. Lux Ezreal is kind of the same as Lux Caitlyn. It's even a little bit safer than Lux Caitlyn is. Ezreal has the built-in mobility, a little bit more survivability in his build path. Once you get up to like item number 3 or 4, you can go that Frozen Heart if you want to, which so far is great into Return of the Middlesticks' champions.
Azir.
So I feel like you keep playing into this, this archetype. Azir also kind of fits. Ish.
Yeah, not as safe, not as good scaling, of course, because nothing is, but can definitely output some damage in the late game. So kind of interesting to see. And Rodham, haven't seen this pick, the Cassiopeia, coming out for Death Lotus.
I kind of like that. There's a bunch of dashes you get to stop by grounding. Grounding is a very unique effect in the game, and Cassiopeia applies it really well, especially in a scenario where you also want a little bit of scaling. You want versatility and some magic damage. Can't argue.
Ooh, Ornn. I would have bet on this. Oh, the Shen's banned. Never mind. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, Shin got banned in the second rotation.
Yeah, I guess the Ornn makes sense here. I wouldn't have hated the Kled again, because I don't know that High Point has an answer. Like, they got to pick the set into that, and it didn't go very well. But we'll see. HPU looking for their last pick in the Camille. That's a fun matchup for Camille eventually. It does get beat up a little bit early, though, by the Ornn. That's my big
Yeah,
analysis. That's all I've got.
a little bit. It's not the easiest matchup in the world. And it also doesn't really play super heavily into the archetype team comp that HPU has been drafting, but maybe they're leaning into comfort. You know, this matchup is not by any means unwinnable. It just kind of sucks early.
That's a lot of Camille matchups, though. She's just not like there's a couple of champions she beats up early, but it's few and far between. It's mostly like you gotta kind of hunker down, get your first item, and then all of a sudden you're one of the best champions in the whole game. You have a Cho'Gath ult on your Q, the whole meme. But
Yeah.
all right, well, we'll watch this draft a second time. Thank you all for joining us. If you are here and don't already follow the channel, please hit the follow button, as that does help us out immensely. And then come back for a broadcast in the future, because that's the best way to show us love. We're at 235 followers. That's actually kind of insane. I don't know. I'm just throwing out numbers now, but Lane made that post in the Discord. Now I'm all teary, like, God, they let me shitpost 1,000 times on the Middlesticks Twitter. How many other things have they let me do? Also, it revealed that Lane uses light mode on Twitter, so that's objectively wrong.
Oh yeah, no, that's one of my favorite things about the whole post, actually. And we got to talk a little bit about the top lane matchup. I can't say that I'm particularly well versed on Cassiopeia Azir. Theoretically, it doesn't seem like it's a super one-sided lane, but these aren't what you would refer to as common mid lane picks.
At least in solo queue. I feel like this has been played a billion times in
Oh
pro
yeah,
play, but
yeah, you're probably right.
I feel like it should be Cassiopeia favored if you're playing correctly, but we're in Gold League. I feel like anything could happen. I guess not strictly, because Fatal Rogue is platinum, but we're in that general area. Azir has the early poke with Comet. Do you go Comet on him? That feels a little strange. That does kind of make sense, though.
I don't know exactly what else you would really take.
Yeah, I guess it was old lethal tempo, not the current one. It's been a minute since Azir's been in meta.
Yeah, quite a while.
He's one of those champions I don't mind as much when he gets popular. Like I'm very tired of Orianna, Corki, Azir meta, but like Azir's the okay one in that trio. IMO. Very tired of Orianna, Corki. But
apparently, it is also common for him to take Conqueror.
That kind of makes
sense. Which doesn't feel like it's super bad. Like it's just Conqueror, Sorcery secondary. Well, they do have Ornn. I wonder. We might see it this time around, honestly.
Yeah, a couple of options available. This is just the first timer. Don't get too excited here, but this does mean that everybody's locked in. There's no trading. Not that we really expected this. We saw a lot of flex picks in the first draft, and we saw pretty much none in this one. You could flip Wukong and Camille, and I wouldn't think it's too wild, but like, Camille can't jungle right now. That's just not a thing that she does.
Which makes me a little sad. I did love Camille jungle.
Oh yeah, it was great. You just beat every champion to Scuttle Crab. You beat them up at Scuttle Crab, and then you won the game.
Yeah, I understand why that needed to stop happening. I do miss it though.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a different feel in the jungle than a lot of the available champions that can actually jungle right now. I think a lot of junglers from that time period really want Camille jungle back, but less cancerous.
That feels reasonable. Like, I feel like you didn't need to completely remove it to fix some of those issues. I just don't feel like they wanted to do the work necessary to balance Camille jungle versus Camille top. Because Camille top's early game already sucks. So,
Yeah.
you take any more power away from her early, so Scuttle Crab isn't a problem, and suddenly Camille top is no longer the pick and she's just a jungle.
I feel like you already almost did it by adding that stupid shield to the Scuttle Crab and then allowing Camille to not be able to break it with her E.
Yeah,
Because that's still a nerf
that also
happened.
seems fair. Mm-hmm. It
But-
is.
Anyway, I'm not on Ryan's balance team. I was gonna flame them and say I'm higher ranked than them, but that's probably not true.
Maybe not all of them.
No, they have a diverse team from a lot of different ranks.
And
They
200 plus combined years of game design experience.
They honestly do a pretty good job. Like outside of from some like notable outliers, I don't think the game's been particularly bad recently. Like I just wish that they'd rotate the meta a little quicker because that entire LCS last season was all the same champions, like all 10 weeks. Nothing changed. There was nothing new that happened. And then playoffs was exactly the same as the regular season. And then MSI was like very slightly different, but still had the same general feel.
It's not a job I envy.
Yeah.
Trying to find a way to make things balanced without being stale, because that's what it feels like it's been recently, and why one of the reasons I kind of stopped watching as much professional scene is because I didn't feel like I was really missing anything.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, 5 seconds to go. We had 28 kills in game number 1 for Return to the Middlesticks. We'll see if they can equal that one and pass the Masters team. And also, if they can win the game and find their way back um, into the series, because they've got to win 2 in a row now, or they risk kind of an embarrassing loss to end the season, at least in terms of the standings.
Yeah, it would be. I feel like it would be a little demoralizing going into playoffs, having lost the game that, you know, maybe one of like 2 or 3 games on the regular season that nobody really expected you to. But that's always a consideration, right? Like, you're gearing up for playoffs, and then you come into your last regular season match that you're supposed to win on the standings, and then you drop game 1, and it's a mental challenge where you're like, okay, you're really gonna make me work as much as I have to work against all these other teams?
Yeah, to be fair, they just kind of got KO'd last game. Like, I don't think that there was anything necessarily wrong about the way Rodham played it out, other than getting like the 2 silly fights back to back are what ultimately cost them because it let Kale scale enough. Well, Explosive's gonna spot this. Is the vision doesn't work that way? Okay.
Not quite. If I actually had fog toggled because I'm a nerd like that.
Oh, they're not gonna.
But
Oh, they see her now. They see her now. There's the hook from
yep.
out of Fog of War. They grabbed Explosive. It's got the hook shot away. The Ignite, the last auto, the Explosive shot, and the Ignite are enough for first blood for Duvranga.
So we get Ignite and Flash, but Duvranga is the one who picks up first blood, so and is gonna get a recall off, which means boots into the lane with the skill shots in it. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, plus 2 pink wards. Why did he sold a potion to buy 2 pink wards?
Uh,
He sold 2 potions to buy 2 pink wards. No, I'm stupid. I was looking
No,
at
he
geo
just
based and I was like, he's got 3 potions, so Duvranga should have 3. No, he bought a long sword and Duvranga had it. I can do math. It's fine. He didn't sell any potions. He just bought 2 pink wards.
Yeah.
Cool. We're caught up.
which Which makes me, I mean, it's obvious that he could have afforded a longsword, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Which makes me think he actually values the boots in the skill shot lane more, which I kind of appreciate. I personally, as since it's a Tristana, I would have just taken the longsword.
Yeah, either way, you're slightly closer to your item spike, so
Yeah.
don't hate it either way. Screams is here level 2, looking for explosive. He doesn't have flash, but that's because he didn't take it, not because he used it during that last fight. And what is this jungle path? Okay, that was enemy red buff. Enemy red and raptors into his own blue. And Roomba Whack's going to spot this one out and do the full clear. So Roomba Whack, if he plays his cards right, could actually get a camp advantage off of this. Because Scrams didn't take the Krugs. Yes?
That's a little interesting.
It happens on the... For some reason, I don't exactly know why. I mean, I know why. The Krugs are in just such a random spot on the map. It's really hard to path around to go get them. Ooh, Rimblewack's only going to take the buff. Okay, so Scrams is going to get a net positive out of this one, after all. They're still looking for
Yeah,
Wukong.
that could be worse.
Yeah, Matsuro's looking to see if he can find him on the Raptors, and yeah, just not there. Now they're going to spot him on the Scuttle Crab, so they know he came in for the red buff and then got the Scuttle Crab and got out. So Scrams has way
I'm
more
actually going to
information.
walk in for the wolves because of that. Or go back to his wolves because of that and path down and get that camp as well instead
Yeah.
of yeah, I mean it is kind of pointless to try and get the invade off into Krugs as well.
Yeah, now
So
they spotted the Wukong again.
makes
There's
sense.
nothing for Rimblewack to do right now. This is kind of brutal. He kind of got out chickened on the camps here. Because yeah, now he's gonna get spotted on that, so Saint's gonna back off. There's nothing for Rimblewack to do. He's gonna get his conciliatory Krugs, but um, won't be able to do a whole lot more than that. That's brutal. That kind of sucks. Is Scrams gonna get his Krugs? No, he's looking for a bot gank. Interesting. These are weird
That
jungle
seems fair.
paths. I'm like
Yeah,
tunneled on that. I don't know what's been happening on the screen. It's just been top lane trading probably.
they're about to crash into yeah, this is a good gank. I wish directed
Oh, the
camera
hook
believed
got
it was
jailbased.
too.
Yeah, get the flay. A little damage coming through. Duvranga jumping forward. They get the flash and well, they get both flashes and the exhaust out in exchange for the heal from Duvranga and the flash from Matsuro. So one summoner spell advantage. And now Matsuro just gonna walk point blank and hook him. Duvranga walking in, trying to get some damage down with this explosive shot. The heal comes out, but they're not quite able to find enough damage. And now Saint spots Roomba Whack up on the top side, and he'll walk away.
You get a lot of value out of that gank. And I feel like some of that value could have been prevented by a little bit better positioning, but really it's just good awareness on Matsuro's part to push the advantage of having Death Sentence back up after that first trade. Oh, that was really close to stopping explosives back.
Yeah, that was very close. Also, I don't know if this is like a commonly known thing or not. Death Sentence gets half cooldown if you hook somebody with it, so that's why he had it back up so quickly. If you don't miss,
Yeah, it's
you
very
get no
punishing to
cooldown.
miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told somebody that. We were playing 8 Rams and I had Thresh, and I just casually mentioned that and they didn't know it, so I don't know if that's like a commonly internalized thing. Blitzcrank's hook does not do that. Fun fact. But it's just Thresh.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of abilities in the game that do that.
Doesn't Pikes as well? I'm not 100% sure on that one. Anyway, Matsuro's hanging around on this top side. He throws the lantern in. Gonna try to pull in the Nocturne. Just a little miscommunication there. Death Lotus doesn't have any mana. This is Qs plus auto attacks, and Fatal Rogue doesn't really have anywhere to run. So Scrams finishes him off, and a second kill for ROTM. They'll take 1,000 gold lead here early.
Yeah, that's just a really good roam on Matsuro's part. This is yeah, this is fun. Saint getting the my opposing laner does true damage experience. Also, he can't continue like Ornn could usually continue fighting that, but because it's a level 5 to level 6 disadvantage, you're not really allowed to stay there.
That said, you can immune the ult, I'm pretty sure, if you use your
I,
W at the right time.
I believe so. Consequently, explosive can dodge the Ornn knockup as
Yeah.
well if you ult at the correct time.
Ooh.
It's a very nuanced matchup actually, and I thought for a second I thought so.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, explosive gonna
it's
go in.
actually
Saint. They're gonna scrap this one out. Okay, not completely, but they're doing the shifty eyes. They're doing the top lane experience on each other. Another Q
yeah,
gonna land from
just
Saint.
continuously trading. It is a very much more nuanced matchup than you would imagine that it is, and
Yeah.
some of the nuance feels like it doesn't always matter.
There's a Nocturne ult, but we're watching top lane. That was a great ult from Explosive. Does he have enough damage to actually finish it off? He does. And now mid lane, Fatal Rogue. Does he have a dash? He's got no flash. Oh, just out of the hook range from Matsuro. Gonna still walk in maybe for the Flay, but Death Lotus is here. They see Rimbo Whack now and have to be a little bit careful. The Flay back. Rimbo Whack in with the red buff. Now Death Lotus turning some damage back onto the Wukong. That's a lot of damage being turned back onto the Wukong. They get the flash out of him. And everybody just kind of happily exchanging summoner spells around the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got them, might as well use them, I suppose. I'm glad that I had the like matchup analysis moment where I mentioned an interaction and then the players display that interaction like within 30 seconds. That doesn't always happen. It's
Yeah.
super fun when it does. This is wow, what a Sheen lineup. I didn't really clock that we had that many Spellblade characters on one team, but yeah, Sheen's galore for High Point, and yeah, that's not really something you want to mess with on the top side of the map. Sheen is just such a disgusting damage spike in extended fights.
Yeah, they got Charlie, they got Martin, and they got their brother son that wasn't as famous. I don't remember. Anyway, Saint is struggling in this matchup now as Explosive has the kill advantage, and Saint hasn't really been able to pick up more items since then. Devranga gets exhausted now. Gank in bottom lane. Saint is still scrapping it out with Explosive. The minion's not really helping him out. Scrams is here, but they're just not quite able to find it. They get one, the fear is going to be able to finish off Explosive, so trade in the top lane. In the bottom lane, just a straight kill as Matsuro had gone just a little too far forward there.
Yeah, and all in all, a lot of the action that's happening is favoring High Point in the ways that they want it to. The only downside for them is how scary this Nocturne is becoming in comparison to his counterpart. 2-0, decent CS lead, is gonna get a crap ton of gold out of this top lane tower because he just dropped the Herald on it after taking 2 plates, so we'll have to see if it does it go to 4 plates? It does, yeah.
Yeah, it's gone. That tower, I think, should die as well, or it gets very
Not quite.
close.
It gets somewhat close, but having the plates means it still has that bonus armor.
Yeah. Matsuro, that's a good hook. Death Lotus is here to try to follow up. Does he have the ult? Ooh, doesn't hit the Petrifying Gaze. Fatal Rogue still trying to scrap his way out. Now just on auto attacks on both sides. One last E. The auto from Matsuro. There it is. Okay, we got the whip for the kill, and they're able to finish that one off.
That got a little bit awkward there. If Death Lotus didn't have flash, it was a really nice play from Fatal Rogue. It was a nice play even without that. Made both the mid laner and the support burn flash for that 1v2. So
I don't think Matsuro had to. He just, like, I think he gets it walking at him because he's got Swifties, and Fatal Rogue doesn't have. Like, he had Berserker Greaves, he's a ranged hit. Like, he should eventually catch him.
I mean, I
But
don't know.
then you chase too far
If he
into Rimway.
just tosses Soldier out and shuffles to it, he might just get back under tower in time.
Yeah, maybe it's fair. I don't know. You might as well use the summoner spell, secure the kill. Hard to fault him for that, but here I am doing that. Scram's looking for the ult in top lane. Saint gonna go ahead and hit the ult. That's a well-timed combo, and Saint picks up the kill with the double doink. Oh,
Yeah.
Matsuro gets the hook onto Luminous. Good flash. Really well-timed to be able to avoid the box damage.
Yeah, that's one of those it was a couple of frames types of flashes that is going to save Luminous's life, because I think that box damage just means that Devrunga goes for it completely
Yeah,
and then probably gets a reset.
the damage plus the slow for sure. We're seeing a lot about what Tall Guy was saying though in the mid lane with Fatal Rogue having the advantage by just having a little bit more range than Death Lotus early. But anytime Death Lotus hits the Q, he can kind of turn it back in. It's kind of an interesting matchup.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of nuanced solo lanes in this game, and I'm kind of here for it.
Scrams has a Kraken Slayer.
Yeah, I noticed that. He's a huge fan of these this build is not really a build that exists, Nocturne builds. And I've talked about it on stream before with like
Oh,
the
Fatal
the
Rogue with a
cleaver
big
third
shuffle.
items.
Matsuro's down. Geo-based, able to pick up the kill with the True Shot Barrage, and right before Dragon, well, Dragon is now spawned. It had already spawned, but um, regardless, that means HPU should be able to secure this one. Are our team going to contest? Scrams doesn't have Paranoia just yet to try to initiate this one. Matsuro's now back from the grave, going to try to walk his way on in. Satan just setting the battle lines here with Death Lotus. Explosive going to jump onto him, though. And they can't really get the Cassiopeia out of the pit. Now a little bit of damage coming through. Good Light Binding from Luminous finishes that one off. Now Roomba Whack, though, gets collapsed on. Not collapsed on, gets the kill, able to get out. Devranga is stuck in the pit and has no way to escape now. He's just autoing with Geo-based. They lose that trade. Lil Saint knocks Explosive over the wall. There's a knock up, getting a little bit of extra damage. The Bellows Breath trades it back. The double kill for the Ord. Hook onto Fatal Rogue. Saint can't really follow this one in, but Saint, I guess, gets 2 kills, kind of equalizes. It isn't. It's 4 for 2, and the Dragon goes the way of HPU. There's no way to spin that one other than a pretty bad engagement for RTM.
Yeah, it's definitely a rough fight overall. It seemed so split across so many different aspects, and kind of just Rodham losing several individual skirmishes.
Yeah, I think the roughest one, though, is Scrams and Duvranga losing out to Roomba Whack pretty much by himself, and then Geobased was able to come in and get some damage in.
Yeah,
That,
that
that
is
was the one that
definitely
looked most oof to me, but
yeah, because that's the one that has the most impact if you win it.
Scrams has found Explosive. He's got E to get over the wall, eventually. Does Scrams actually have the
Uh-oh.
damage to win this? In comes the Ornhorn. Try to help out with a little damage, and Scrams just gets the kill. Alright.
Yeah, I mean, when you miss E like that, and you're looking at Nocturne, who has a Kraken Slayer and Exhaust,
That's Suro's an Alcove
what are you
gamer.
supposed to do, man?
Okay.
Is he? He doesn't have. Yeah, and he gets. Okay, well that's.
Okay, he got the
That
hook.
was a
They're
little
going to
cute.
jump in.
That's
Luminous
cute.
is... Alright. They get one. Oh, Matsuro's Ignite picks that one up. That's a little unfortunate. They get the Ignite or the teleport in from Saint as well. Doesn't have the ultimate. Meanwhile, Paranoia into the mid lane, looking for the fear. That's a nice little dash from Fatal Rogue, able to get out. Now Roomba Whack is looking for Death Lotus, trying to kite his way back out. They get a nice petrifying gaze. Roomba Whack falls, and in come Matsuro and Saint. Now the cavalry has arrived. They get the fear down. A lot of damage coming through for Fatal Rogue, and Scrams finishes him off with a Dusk Trail. But now here's Explosive to try to turn that one around. He finishes off Matsuro. Death Lotus trying to skate back away, and Explosive doesn't have his E to close that gap, so everyone will walk away, and it's 9 to 11 in kills, never forget.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone work harder for a 1-3-2 scoreline than Fatal Rogue this game. He's doing so much on this Azir, and he doesn't really actually have that much to show for it, unfortunately.
Yeah, the wild part to me right now, this game has felt like every skirmish has been kind of high point favored, but ROTM has the kill lead. They have a 3,000, 3,500 almost gold lead. And yet every time we see the champions clash, it is just so close.
Yeah, and I think part of that comes down to just exactly what they're fighting over.
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy, here we go
Petrifying
again.
Gaze doesn't connect. Little healing from Death Lotus trying to keep him alive. Dances in. Does Fatal Rogue die? No, he's got the heal from Triumph to keep him alive. He's still burning though. Okay, not quite able to finish that one off with the Leandries, but that was very close. And Death Lotus missed his ult.
Yeah, it's the smallest things.
I would
This
argue that missing
this
the ult
matchup is
isn't
finally.
the smallest thing, but yeah.
No,
This
I
one,
mean it's like, yeah.
yeah, we're going for it up in the top lane. Ornhorn goes a little wide, but doesn't matter as they pick up the kill anyway.
It's the smallest margins. It's the
Yeah,
smallest movement. Like it was just like half of a sidestep from Fatal Rogue that made it that he wins that particular 1v1 in a game where they're going to be 1v1ing a lot, it seems, and already have been.
Matsuro is really wanting that pink ward and might get punished for it. Rumba Whack has enough damage to eventually finish that one off. Yeah. The monkey bonk is no joke. Now the hook coming through. Matsuro just trying to get out, and Fatal Rogue's there. Picks up an extra kill. That's nice with the little auto attack there on the Thresh.
Hire a warding buddy, or in your case, a de-warding buddy. But like seriously, it's past 15 minutes. You really can't be walking around as the support trying to get vision without somebody else, because getting vision means you're on vision, which is like it sounds like an asshole way of saying that, right? But it's something that I had to learn as a support, that like anytime I go to D-ward, I am actively asking you to kill me.
All right. TP in from Explosive. Four-man squad right now for HPU. Azir's in the mid lane. Matsuro a little late to join, fresh off of his experience back to the fountain. Scrams walks a little far forward, getting a little chunk taken out of him into a lot of chunk. Ult from Saint gets interrupted. That was really nice by Explosive. Now we're diving into the backline onto Lux. Immediately Explosive just explodes, per his name. Scrams just trying to get the kill onto Luminous, but won't be able to find that one. Fatal Rogue kiting back away. He has to flash back away. Now turning on to Saint. Saint flashes over the top wall. Luminous with the final spark isn't quite enough damage. The E is, though, does get the shutdown. But now Roomba Whack, still full health, still looking pretty strong in this fight. Fatal Rogue dashing on forward, looking for Matsuro, and HPU somehow able to turn that fight around. It's 3-for-1 is the final scoreline on that one.
Yeah, MVP for HPU is Fatal Rogue, basically just solo frontlining with the Riftmaker healing while his team chases down Nocturne, who's going after Lux.
That's, I think, the rough part about this team composition for ROTM is there's no one to dive with Scrams. He's very strong right now with his Kraken Slayer into Black
Yes.
Cleaver build.
Yep. No, he does it every time, and I hate it every time I see it.
Um, but there's no one to dive with him to provide crowd control to provide a little secondary damage.
Like the most that he's getting is Call of the Forge God as assistance.
But
because,
that was
like,
used to initiate the fight, and it got interrupted. Really nice play by Explosive, by the way. He sacrificed himself to stop the Forge God, but it ultimately worked out for his team.
Yeah, no, it was definitely the right play. It's just one that you don't like making as a top laner, and the fact that he can make it and recognize that it's the right play is a good sign. The issue is that Paranoia goes like double, maybe triple the distance of Devranga's jump, and he's the only other person that can really get in to dive with Scrams, which is not necessarily ideal, right? You don't necessarily just want your AD carry and jungler solo diving backline, or duo diving backline.
Yeah, Paranoia in. Where's the target? It's going to be the Ezreal going through. Ooh, just not quite enough damage there. Now Roomba Whack dashes over the wall with his W. I forgot that you can do that now. That's kind of gross, but he's on out of there, and they successfully navigate another Paranoia.
Yeah, and that's actually a pretty important cooldown to have down at this exact moment, because you're fighting over a lot of really low outer towers right now. You want to be pushing. The only worst thing is if there was a dragon still up at the moment. But thankfully that's not on the table for another 3 minutes, so.
I think Saint wanted the clap in there, and then that trade looks fine, but didn't get the clap, so still getting pushed in by Explosive. Which is a little surprising given their disparity in items. Like Saints on 2.5 and Explosives on 1 and not even a half. And Camille's still kind of handily taking these trades. Now with the Ignite, it just finishes them off. Why not? Solo kill. Sure.
Yeah. You just like it's so hard to actually play the game as Ornn when or any tank really when your opponent has true damage. Like just built-in true damage is so annoying to deal with. You get kind of the same effect when you play Set into Ornn, but it's not nearly as oppressive as Camille's.
Oh,
Oh,
that
you could actually
looked like it hit, but it did not, I guess. Oh my god. That
maybe
damage from
not.
Luminous is no joke. There's another
I was
Q from
gonna say.
Geobased. He's looking for it. He kind of wants to E in. You can tell that. You can see the Ezreal positioning. Scrams has Paranoia available maybe to try to turn this one back onto Geobased and Luminous, but Matsuro and Duvranga really can't help out. They've got to go back to base.
I'm really surprised that Luminous just didn't at least toss out the final spark. Like, it's low chance of hitting, right? Matsuro could flash it if he absolutely had to, but it's gonna kill either of them if you just throw it at the end of that E, if it lands.
Yeah,
And there's no reason to hold it. It's such a low cooldown. Maybe you want to be, like, one comboing people if you're this far ahead on Lux, and you obviously are because we just saw the damage demonstration, but...
yeah. Matsuro's roamed up to top lane. That means that they're sacrificing vision on this dragon that's coming up in 45 seconds. Explosive. Again, no flash. Has the Camille E. Good play by Matsuro. That's really nice. Gets the hook as well. Forge God not going to do a whole lot there. Bellows Breath doesn't connect either, but Explosive eventually dies at the end of this one.
Yeah, the other thing is you can't really get any healing anymore now that the Bramble Vest has been finished up. I'm a little surprised to see Saint go for Warden's Mail before Bramble Vest, but he has it now, so these fights should look a lot closer when they're solo, and when he's got a friend, you can just kill him.
Scrams with a defensive Paranoia to make sure Duvranga can walk out. That's a buddy
I don't...
move, but that sucks with 5
Mm,
seconds to go before the dragon.
yeah, I mean, it's such a difficult judgment call to make at that exact moment, but I feel like with how strong he is, if you wanted to contest this dragon, you definitely wanted to have Paranoia, and now they just can't. Yeah, the dragon is 100% going to HPU, and that's unlucky.
Yeah,
Because you definitely could have fought for that.
they made the call, I think, for tower damage because Saint was still, quarter health up in top lane, has teleport available. If you wanted to fight, you have to recall the Ornn and at least get him some health, right? But they chose for some tower damage. We'll see if that pays off for him because they did get the mid lane tower. They got a lot of damage on that top lane tower. Duvranga going forward, geo-based. Oh, doesn't quite find that hook. Ezreal, of course, has just too many dashes in his kit, and he's out of there with the flash.
Yeah, Geobased having a very quiet standout game at 3-0 with the tied for second highest, now straight up the second highest CS in the game. Really doing well on this Ezreal.
In
Same for
comes
Luminous. The bot
the
lane for
Nocturnal
HPU
into
is...
top lane.
Wow.
Explosive is he's got nowhere to go. He gets feared off of his E, and Saint picks up another kill. They've been a lot of focus toward Explosive. He's died 9 times in this game, just eating all of the pressure basically. But it's allowed a lot of room for Fatal Rogue and Geobase to scale really nicely into this game. They're outputting a huge amount of damage when they get into these fights.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of free kills off of focusing Camille here, but I have to wonder at a certain point what you're giving up.
Ooh. Death Lotus is feeling some of that pain right now as Fatal Rogue introduces him to some of his soldiers.
We do get the tower up in the top lane for Lil Saint coming in. He's been working on that one for a while. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, it's still a 2,000 gold lead for Return of the Middlesticks. They're definitely not playing like it. They don't feel like they have it, but they have one. And I don't know how much that ultimately matters. Right now, your strongest member is still the Nocturne, and he's got this wacky build that doesn't one-shot and doesn't keep him safe. But Duvranga and Death Lotus not too far behind. Death Lotus specifically, 3 items now on the Cassiopeia. If he can stand and deliver in some of these fights, he'll be very strong. But the trouble is it feels like he's always just trying to kite away, trying to backpedal, and not really getting to do what he wants to do in these fights.
Yeah, it's so difficult for him to find an opening because in a situation where you're looking for a lot of engage, a lot of setup for Scram's dive, Matsuro is also looking for uh, go in and not so much protect Tristana. Not that Thresh has like incredible peel, but Lantern is decent and Box is underrated. So is Flay. You can get a lot of protection done for Duvranga if you want to, but and that the trade-off is you leave Scrams even more on his own on his backline experience.
This is a fight that's happening in my video game. Oh my god. Alright, he's got the combo, he's got the plays. Alright, Lil Saint, the V-Bon apprentice, and they get the one-shot in mid lane, but Roomba Whack is going to equalize that one, able to take down Duvranga as well. Scram's coming in on the Paranoia, they get the Fear onto the Wukong. Do they have the damage to actually chunk through? It doesn't look like it immediately. Scram's trying to kite away, but there's just no help for him. Explosive finishes him off, and now maybe even able to chase down Death Lotus and Matsuro. Hits the max range E, but gets flayed out of it and stuck underneath the tower. Another nice hook from Matsuro secures that one, and Death Lotus picks up another kill. Luminous and Roomba Whack still relatively healthy, though, in this mid lane. Could maybe look for a push. Looks like they're going to retreat for now, and Lil Saint's going to go to work on this bottom lane tower.
I can see Explosive going for that if that mid lane tower was down, but even if the Flay doesn't happen, at most you're trading 1-for-1, and with tower damage ramp the way it is, and Thresh protecting Cassiopeia, maybe you're not even doing that. The rest of that fight looked very very cookie cutter for the number of people who are capable of joining from range. So you got the 1v1 in the bot lane, then it's just trade back for trade back for trade back in mid, and then kind of a freebie given over by Explosive at the end of it.
Teleport in from Explosive, or that might be both Explosive and Fatal Rogue. Yeah, it is. The double teleport coming in. They're really looking for it. Matsuro throws out kind of a hopeful hook. I don't know that they could really go for it. Now Death Lotus finally able to collapse from that top side. Scrams set up behind the dragon right now. This is Infernal Soul. They have to get this one. Oh, a big interrupt, though. The knockback onto Little Saint's ult. They'll get the knock-up onto Explosive. In comes the Paranoia. They're going to be able to take down the Wukong. This is a great fight for Return to the Middlesticks. Much better than the last couple. Fatal Rogue taken low, not quite taken down. Scrams finally falls, but he gets the trade. Geobase now trying to kite back away. Gets knocked up, and Duvranga finishes him off with the auto attack. Luminous is the last survivor for HPU. And ROTM finally found a fight that they need. Oh, he even gets the last one. The Bud Light ace the double kill for Duvranga, and they'll get the dragon to be able to stave off the Infernal Soul point.
Yeah, a huge problem for HPU in this game is just how absolutely massive Lil Saint has become on this horn. 4.5 items, 6, 4, and 10. You just can't cut through him with what you have available to you at this point in the game. Like, this isn't the HP Shred Azir version. You're playing Ezreal, notoriously one of the worst AD carries at getting through a front line. I don't know how you're supposed to kill him from this point onward. Like, you've got 3 Divine Sunderers and it's not cutting it.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
I feel like Camille in a sideline does it, but like you need another item or two. At least another item or two. Oh, I didn't see I didn't see the upgrade for Duvranga from Lil Saint. And then I saw the one for Matsuro, and I was like, did he really just pass up his 80 carry to give one to the support? Okay, no, we upgraded everybody. We got the Reliquary of the Golden Gadon. The big upgrade coming through now.
One of my personal favorites. It's so extra as a name.
I mean, it's not that much more wild than Locket of the Iron Solari. Like
not really,
it's
I
just
guess.
take all of those words and upgrade them by one, you know? Which
Yeah.
is kind of how they did it for most of them, and then some of them are just off the board, and I don't quite understand. But anyway,
Like
Baron
like
buff.
Wormfall and Sacrifice.
Yeah, that one from
Got
Kraken
two of
Slayer.
those.
I don't know what the sacrifice has to do. Anyway, they're pulling the trigger. They're going for Lux underneath the tower. Big knockup though from Saint, and he's just tanking up tower happily at the end of this one. Fatal Rogue and Rimble Whack from the top side get hit by the double petrifying gaze. Really nicely done by Death Lotus. Explosive in looking for the kill onto Duvranka. He'll find nothing, and Geobased is left wondering what happened to his team. RTM finally find two back-to-back fights that they needed, and now working their way onto the inhibitor towers. Everybody's still alive, and I don't know that Geobase can really hold on here.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what he's meant to do in this scenario. He has to get more stalling,
Yeah.
at least 10 seconds worth, and I don't think he's gonna do it. The first tower's down, the second tower's down, and we're going to game 3.
All right. Game 3, 27 more kills for the June donation incentive, and a 1-1 score line now. Let's see what game 3 has in store for us. Get in quick. I have to run to the bathroom really quick. I'll be right back. All right, I made it back.
We are in waiting room for draft. And we're drafting. Let's go.
Oh, I didn't change the sides. Hold on.
That's okay. Nothing else is changing so far. Twitch auction. We're following suit with the Katarina ban? Question mark? We're gonna do the Senna first.
Change things up.
We'll see if we are or not. We haven't seen that much consistency from Return of the Middlesticks. They're gonna get rid of the Nocturne. Okay. I mean, we're gonna see at least something different. Stick with the Kale ban, so we're still looking at maybe a Shen, or they're banning it away for some reason. It's first pick Lilia. B1 Lilia.
B1
Okay.
Lilia. No Wukong. Wants a different animal champion. Monkey
Maybe we're
didn't
just
work
done
into deer.
monkeying around.
True. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's so aggressively low-hanging fruit at this point.
Moo. Alright, we're
Good
off
character.
the board for these. And Rakan.
So we've confirmed already that it's not a Mumu support.
Yeah, immediately we set up the flex and then immediately ruin it. Is this just Zaya Rakan? Is that what we're setting up for?
We're looking at a potential Zaya takeaway, so maybe not. It's no longer a potential Zaya takeaway, it's happening.
Xylene.
That feels fine. That's so much like boilerplate protection for bot lane. Like, you now officially have maybe one of the 5 safest combos that you can reasonably pick as a marksman support duo. I don't know, maybe I put that top 3.
Well, we got
And
the
there's
Death
the,
Lotus Katarina. Alright.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like we kind of had to have it, right? They dropped the ban. It's game 3. It's in the name.
Yeah.
We're firing on all cylinders here.
Luminous didn't go for the Lux again. Confirmed not Lux main?
Question mark?
Anyway, those are the same bands.
Or it's Midzillion.
It definitely could be Midzillion. That would be very interesting considering the role that Fatal Rogue has played.
Yeah, you're like taking yourself out of the carry potential. Not that Zillion isn't impactful, right? Like, there's a reason it's one of Bjergsen's signature champions from, the dawn of time. But it definitely is a completely different look for him from the previous 2 games, if it's his. That feels appropriate.
Jhin would be interesting. I don't know that I've seen Duranga play Jhin, though. But we're going to lock it in. Why not? If there were a time to mess around, I mean, this is a reasonably high-stakes game, but, like, losing doesn't knock you out of the playoffs or anything ridiculous like that, so...
It's interesting. It's a very high-stakes game in a very low-stakes series.
Yeah.
Now you're playing for stuff like pride and momentum.
And donation incentive, but...
True.
Mordekaiser is the pick for HPU and Yasuo. Alright, you've got no knock... Well, I guess you have a claw. You have the claw for Yasuo.
Mordekaiser es numero no.
Wait.
I can't like pretend that I'm not unreasonably excited to see Yasuo in my video game.
Yasuo
Along
versus
with that,
Katarina is a banger matchup. And the Gangplank. Oh, right.
I love this matchup. I personally, as a Yasuo player, feel like this matchup is unwinnable for Katarina, but that's just me. I know that, like, statistically speaking, it's a lot more even than that, but it's one of my favorite matchups to play. I will pick Yasuo into Katarina every day of the week and twice on Sundays.
Sorry, I'm trying to solve an issue elsewhere really quick. Oh, there's a second draft. I can put that on the screen. Really committed to the whole Rodham thing. We're trying to figure out how to do a roster change in Aegis at the same time as doing this.
Huge.
Because fuck if I know.
MetaShift showed up in my chat, so they get this sub now.
Damn. All right, MetaShift. Now a member of the Crowstorm. I don't know who Ascension is thinking, honestly. But, anyway, I still need to figure this out. I'm assuming it's just the same form, because I can't see. So there's a pinned roster change form, but it like goes back to last season. And I don't know if it's the same form that I should use. Well, not me. The person making this change. I think so. Sorry, we have finished that off. Let's focus in. Okay.
Things are happening.
Things are happening.
Let's see.
Okay, so
in as much as
apparently
we have a lot of very interesting picks here, there aren't that many very interesting lanes to talk about.
Yeah, apparently what I'm gathering is a RTM win will lock OME Ascension for playoffs. So, I guess OME Ascension waiting with bated breath to see if we can finish off this series.
Ah, there we go. We figured it out.
All right. Cool. This is just the first countdown, right? This isn't the second one?
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
X-Craze in chat. At Arena. X-Craze is, I think, either the highest or the second highest per kill donation in our incentive.
Yeah, I'll open... Oh, I opened up the wrong form. Yeah, X-Craze is on the hook for 30 cents a kill, and if there's a penta, it's $10 flat. So, granted, lane's at $50 for a penta, so we're really rooting for a penta from Katarina in this game.
2 Death Lotus and 8 pentas, or I riot.
That'd be pretty spectacular. For anyone
Truly.
who hasn't caught up or seen our Twitter, we're donating to LGBT charities for June per kill for Rodham. So every Rodham kill is going to charity. So we appreciate opponents donating their deaths to us, I guess. I'm not really sure
What do
that I
we
can
what
go
do
on
we up
record
to?
saying that one.
Like a
Um,
dollar 20 per kill?
we're more than that now. I haven't added it up. Aegis in one of Aegis's admins, Corrido, also pledged to match the original amount, which was 10 cents per kill. Um, so yeah,
New donation tracker math. Let's see.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, $1, 165 per kill is what we're at right now.
Nice, nice.
And
Very
then if there's
cool.
a pentakill, it's immediately 65, $71. So get the
Huge.
old $71 pentakill. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of interesting seeing these style of team comps after the two games that we just saw. Like it felt like we saw very similar team comps run into each other in games 1 and 2, and then now we're just kind of off the board for game number 3. These are a lot of wild champions comparatively.
Yeah, I can almost guarantee you, as somebody who's been in this situation several times, that Fatal Rogue was like, okay, guys, it's the last game of the season. I don't care what characters they have. I don't care that there's an Amumu. Give me Yasuo. Because I've said that exact line, including the Amumu part, more times than I can think of. So it feels like we're getting a lot of what people want to play out of this game, which is always, in my opinion, more fun to watch, especially in a gold league.
Yeah,
And then of course you've got the like reasonably nuanced lanes. Yasuo wind walls Katarina's Q. Suddenly you don't get to play the video game. Gangplank presses W and it's K, and Mordekaiser loses cooldown on Death Realm. A lot
yeah.
of fun things that can happen.
What I think is funny is we've done pick and ban phases 3 times now with these teams. All 10 of the bans had been banned or picked previously in the series, and then only one pick had been played. It's the Mordekaiser, this one right here. None of the rest of these champions had been played yet this series or banned.
Katarina was banned both
Katarina
times.
was banned.
Twice. Yep.
Okay, never mind.
But other than that, yeah, nothing else in this game is based on either of the previous two games that we've played.
So here we are, game number 3. HPU on the blue side. The Panthers. Prowler the Panthers. Shout out to him. I didn't actually look him up. I just saw his name. I thought it was funny. Um, they're on the blue side. Rodham on the red side. And it looks like Rodham not going to invade for the first time in their lives.
Quite literally their lives. Like this might be the first time I've ever seen Harvest 5 point.
And they didn't even do it successfully because Durango was just in shop. Buying his boots. And then they're just roaming together. This is really unsuccessful 5 point, all things considered.
It's fine. They don't ever do it, so it would stand to reason that they don't know how, right?
Yeah. Would you like me to ruin the Cillian skin for you?
Please.
Okay. Pull up his splash art and just look at his lips.
Oh no. I don't know if I want to.
Okay.
I don't actually remember the name of the skin.
Sugar Rush Zillion?
I'm gonna hate this. That's illegal. And I don't like it.
Alright. Well,
Thank you for that.
both junglers start in top side of the map, so we're going to have potential shenanigans happening. I apparently have to watch my dog for a second, so if there's any weird noises that happen, that's what happened, and Luminous has to flash away at level 1.
Yeah, that looks like fun. You wouldn't really expect, and probably this is the reason that it worked, right? You wouldn't expect Rakan Jin to be the cheese lane. However, on that note, I would expect Matsuro 3+2 and Duvranga to be the cheese lane, so
Yeah,
At least
that's
that's topical.
fair. Matsuro square root of 25, known for his aggression. Uh,
He's not quite known for his aggression the way I'm known for my aggression, but that might be a good. That might say more about me than it does him. That might be a good thing.
yeah. Ooh, big double knockup from Matsuro. Right as they hit level 2, they'll get the captive audience. Just, there isn't much damage coming out of Jin Rakan early on, but they get a... Well, it was a favorable trade until that bomb detonated. Now I'm not so sure about how that trade went, but we're still gonna do it. Hi, Kale. It's okay if you can hear my dog. He's very distraught because his mother is like outside and not in vision immediately.
Object permanence difficult. Don't like it.
Scrams is here in mid lane. Good wind wall there from Fatal Rogue away from the bandage toss, and he'll be able to just walk on out.
Disappointing. I would have stayed fighting that. Probably why I'm not a top ranked Yasuo player.
I believe Roomba Whack actually got spotted on that ward.
Yeah, I think so.
So Scram, this
That
is
doesn't seem to be a
yeah.
particular
Scrams is just
deterrent, though.
walking in. He's down a level, but hits the bandage toss. Now Matsuro's here, not able to get the knockup. Fourth shot into Geobase. Now the exhaust coming down onto Geobase. First blood finished off by Scrams there. Geobase still walking on out. Fourth shot, I don't think does enough damage just yet. Yeah, not quite there. But they get first blood. So Scrams successfully walked into Roomba Whack and killed him. I don't really know how that works out, but it did. That would have been the world's silliest triple barrel if Saint did that.
Oh, we're going
Oh,
again.
another knockup. Matsuro still getting damage down, getting just enough healing off of his Gleaming Quill, plus Duvranga has to use his Summoner Heal to keep him alive, but Geobased and Luminous feeling a little more comfortable than they have in these last couple of lanes.
Yeah, this feels like it's working for them. Geo-based connoisseur of Xayah and feathers, potentially.
Is that what's required to become the Xayah player?
You know damn well you cannot hold me to anything I say on game 3.
I can still ask questions. I'm still curious where that was going.
It wasn't. That's the problem.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, we're here. We're past my bedtime. We're past my dog's bedtime, which is making him also distraught. But uh, anyway, shoutouts to Kale. He's very cute. If you look in the Rodham pet chat, you can see he had his first pup cup today. Got some whipped cream from Smoothie King today. Very cute. I guess it's frozen yogurt. My wife is correcting me.
Someday, somebody's gonna have to educate me on the non-alphabetical differences between ice cream and frozen yogurt.
Frozen yogurt's like thicker, and it's made from a different part of the milk. Anyway, knockup from Fatal Rogue, and Death Lotus has to flash. He doesn't have to flash. He just Shenpo's away.
Yeah, I feel like every time you enter that scenario and you get the knockup, every Yasuo is like, oh, I got the knockup, gotta use ult. But it's actually more threatening and a higher damage potential to just take the knockup if you're in melee range and continue autoing and queuing, and then save the ult for the next knockup. Because you've already done your damage. Like, Death Lotus has to exist in this lane after that damage goes down.
Scrimps doesn't have Curse of the Sad Mummy, but it might not matter. The Cannon Barrage coming down. They don't get any CC down onto Geobase, but they do finish him off. Scrams picks up his second kill of the game. And unlike the Nocturne game, isn't building a silly item on a Mumu, so this will probably work out okay. I feel bad calling him out. I shouldn't call him out. I've seen that build is like Korean solo queue approved, but it still seems wild to me. I don't know.
I call him out on principle because we argue about the build. So that's my motivations. Also, I feel like the other reason you want to do what I said you should
Matsuro?
do. Oh no. Huh? Oh. Well. Yep.
He definitely wasn't on the same page as his AD, and Scrams just gets collapsed on in his own jungle by Fatal Rogue and Roomba Whack, and he gets the knick-knack paddywhack there by his red buff. We're not.
Explosive wants to flash this so bad.
Oh, he
Yep.
does. Got him.
Yep.
That's a nice solo
Get
kill for Explosive. I feel like this is a unique scenario in that Rodham doesn't want to be the aggressive team right now necessarily. They're the team that wants to scale a little bit more. But they're
Yeah, I'd
not
agree
used
with
to
that.
playing that way, so they're just kind of forcing, and it's cost them a little bit so far. So it's a 1,500 gold lead now for HPU, which is the reverse flip from what we've seen the last couple of games. Also, shout out to the Riot client for still not having a logo in for Hextech Drake. So there's just an empty box in the top left corner of my screen.
Huge fan.
Yeah. We've really entered prime casting hours. Roomba Whack is really farming. This is pretty remarkable. He's up almost double Scram's farm so far.
Lilia go burr.
Lilia don't normally go burr. That was a grammatically correct sentence. Don't question me. This early on though, usually you're relatively even for a bit, and then you hit an item and you go burr.
Yeah, typically. That's fair.
But Roomba Whack is just housing Scrams in the farm department. Scrams though got his Rift Herald, has a couple of kills under his belt as well, so he's hanging in there. But ooh, getting invaded again. This might be a little bit more costly than it was last time. Roomba Whack gonna get knocked up immediately by Matsuro into the captive audience, but Fatal Rogue is here, and they don't have a really great answer for this Yasuo until now with Scrams coming in into the cannon barrage. Scrams gets stunned by Luminous, but they'll be able to take down Roomba Whack, and now Fatal Rogue trying to dash his way back out of it, dances back in with the last breath, gets one kill, now dashing on through. Death Lotus gets a big ultimate, but it just doesn't matter. It's a double kill for Fatal Rogue. He's dashing through, getting more kills, gets the double knockup. It's a triple kill. It's a quadra kill for Fatal Rogue.
Yep. That all looked about right. Yasuo pressed all the buttons in the correct order. He got donated a chrono shift somewhere in the middle of that, and now he's 5-0. It wasn't even necessarily poorly played. You got the layered Amumu ulti on top of the cannon barrage. Like, everything was going fine, but Death Lotus didn't get to buy before that happened and didn't do any damage going in with the 3-man ulti, so... Not that popping Chrono Shift was really going to change too much there. Fatal Rogue kind of just did all of that by himself.
He doesn't even get a full item off of that. Because he went Zeal first. But
Zeal
Yeah.
First has gone back up in popularity quite a bit due to a couple of changes.
he's still like scary spooky right now. With
Oh yeah,
this amount of
very.
items, and now going in on to Death Lotus. Scrams is here, hits the bandage toss, but it doesn't matter because the knockup was there just in time. Meanwhile, Matsuro getting the charm in the bottom lane. Luminous should eventually fall. Duvranga has to stop, reload his gun for a second, but meanwhile in the mid lane that didn't go well. Fatal Rogue picks up his 6th kill of the game, and now Geo-based looking for a little bit more. Oh, just gets out of the range there. The extra little movement speed from the W helping him out, and looks like Matsuro and Duvranga gonna... Well, they're never going to back off. They will not give up on a fight.
No, like they're still like they walked away and started hitting minions, and in their eyes they were still in combat. Like the Skyrim battle music was still playing in both of their ears.
Saint is having a... Oh, they get the Gleaming Quill in her app.
Still playing. Dun, 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 dun,
They have to be
dun,
careful,
dun,
though, because Luminous is almost back, and he's got Chrono Shift, so... If you overextend now, you could be in a world of trouble, but... I won't feel good about this until Matsuro finishes his recall, for the record.
Yeah, he's gone. He's
Okay.
gone.
Well, this is a very different game from what we saw in the first two games. HPU out to a pretty big early lead now, 4,000 gold. The Dragon. Fatal Rogue is the biggest man on the map, 6-0 on the Yasuo. Death Lotus doesn't even break his shield. This is the life you live sometimes as a Katarina.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't help that you're going the Sunderer build, which notably peaks a lot later and doesn't really hit very hard early. Takes a while for the Sunderer Katarina to get online, but it is a very powerful 3-item spike, I believe it is.
I honestly wouldn't know. I'll be honest. Not the Katarina connoisseur I used to be. It was one of the first champions like I don't want to say I strictly mained, but I played a lot of Katarina for a while.
Yeah, it's once you get well, if you don't feel the need to go Hourglass third, uh, it's very good at Sunderer, Nashor's Tooth, Shadow Flame is the 3.
Duvranga's still working his way up to any damage at all, so having a bit
Yeah,
of trouble
he's
clearing. You can see the farm counts are really suffering for RRTM. That's a bulk of this gold lead. The kills don't help. The dragon doesn't help, but it it's really the farm in every single lane right now.
yeah, no, it's 30 in top, 15 in mid. I don't want to talk about jungle. That's scary in and of itself.
Ooh, they get the root, they get the Featherstorm out of Geo-based. In comes the Cannon Barrage. A lot of damage coming through, but now in comes the Chrono Shift. All right, Duvranga American Sniper opening up. He hit a shot, and that's all we're going to see. Good stun on the Matsuro. Geo-based is just going to go into melee range. Duvranga, fourth shot, finishes that one off. So they at least get the trade in the bottom lane. Now, can Duvranga finish off Luminous? He cannot. And with the Roomba Whack coming in, it's not looking so good for Duvranga there as the little deer cleans him up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to see what you were talking about a little bit more. Return of the Middlesticks is in a comp where they want to be scaling a little harder, and they're just not playing like they are. And these forces are not always working out for them in the ways that they're hoping. Like if you just discount the Yasuo, the rest of the game state still looks totally fine for HPU.
I think part of this is the pressure that Roomba Whack has somehow been able to put on Scrams in the jungle. Like, this CS lead is no joke, and it's made Scrams, I don't want to say desperate, but he's falling 3 levels behind. He was able to get an objective bounty there off of the second Rift Herald, which is nice, but ultimately doesn't really help out or change the game state at all. And now Roomba Whack, Luminous, and Geo-based will just go ahead and take this dragon. W not quite in time there from Duvranga. Wouldn't have done a whole lot anyway. Now Scrams is stuck in the mid lane looking for Fatal Rogue. They can't tangle with this Yasuo though. They get the mid lane tower, but yeah, I mean that was their big investment. Their big counterplay was to get Sheila and crash it into the mid lane tower.
Which I mean does work out just fine,
It
right? Like
isn't
they
nothing,
have
but
the
yeah.
they have the objective bounties up at this point. And you know that is a lot of standing gold that you can pick up around the map if you can find your way into picking up maybe bot lane outer tower now, since you still have your bot lane down there. Correction, you still have Duvranga down there. But I feel like it's the correct play for Metzger to be roaming right now.
Yeah, he's here back in time just to try to save the tower. Gets a little knock up on a Geo-based, and that should be about it. But yeah, Gale Force finally finished up for Duvranga, so he's got a little bit of kick now. But they have to give up this tower. Geo-based and Luminous pick up that one, and it's a 5,000 gold lead now at 17 minutes. And this one feels I don't know if I'm just biased, maybe, but this one feels a lot different than the first two games did. We were sitting there, 5,000, 6,000 gold lead for ROTM, but it felt like there were a lot of options for HPU to come back in those games. And this one, it's harder to see, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Mostly I'm just busy marveling at this jungle CS differential and trying to figure out like i- it's something that's gone so far under the radar that I don't feel like I've figured out exactly how it happened. That's a good flash
Good
from
flash from
Saint.
Saint, yeah, able to stay alive. He's gotta just keep farming. He's opting for the full damage build, and that's not the best cannon barrage, but it's gonna
A
clear the
little bit
minion wave.
wide.
Ooh, Roomba is here. Scrams is able to find him, but they don't win this fight in any regard, especially without Cannon Barrage. Matsuro is here, but I don't think that they can really do it. Scrams gets pulled into Death Realm. Sleep coming out onto Gangplank, able to orange that one out. In comes the Curtain Call. This might be the thing that they need to turn this one around. Explosive, just able to finish off the kill onto Scrams, but now the Chrono Shift is here. Saint able to pop that one and retreat back toward Duvrongo with the movement speed. Gets the barrel down. Oh, not quite able to fight it. A little damage coming through. Roomboax still alive. The W just a little wide. Explosive still. Walking on in. Everyone is so low. Saint trying to kite back away, but that bomb not doing them any favors. Explosive now. Gets the Q. He gets the double kill, and it's just Duvrongo left with his little pea shooter trying to fight his way out. Explosive underneath the tower. There's the fourth shot. He gets the shutdown. Luminous doesn't have Chrono Shift now. Just has to zip away. But Geobased and Death Lotus are here in mid lane. Is he able to get it? He's got some damage. Can't he go for this? Yeah, there it is. There's the Ignite, and one last E to finish that one off. A nice solo kill for Death Lotus. Fatal Rogue, though, has pushed in this tower in bottom lane, and Scrams is trying to defend. That's a lot of cross-map action now. Luminous will be able to pick up this top lane tower. I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, we don't have time to unpack all of that. However, uh, I appreciate the not roll over and die strategy that Return of the Middlesticks is coming at them with. Like they're picking up a good couple of kills. Questionable decision making on Geo-based part to 1v1 Death Lotus under his own tier 2. But outside of that, micro-wise, Return of the Middlesticks is still playing these fights fairly well. They're just super far behind, and this does not look good.
That's really unfortunate for Scrams. He's going to try his best here. They get the Cannon Barrage, and they might be able to get the shutdown here.
Man.
Yeah, he finally gets the knockup.
Yep.
It's a shutdown going to Duvranga. That's not unsubstantial. That's a large amount
massive,
of gold
actually.
in his pocket. Yeah.
Yeah. I expected Fatal Rogue to burn through. Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, at this stage in the game, with as much gold as he has, I really expected Fatal Rogue to about, not 3 or 4 shot, but maybe like 7 or 8 shot this Amumu, and he just pit stopped 1,300 gold into Quicksilver Sash as the player who has Mordekaiser on his team. I really hate this decision. Like, he has the Infinity Edge now, but had he had it before then, he would not have given over 1,000 gold to the enemy ADC.
No, he might have killed them all. Like,
I'm pretty sure he kills them all. Having been Yasuo in that scenario and having Amumu use his primary CC outside of his ultimate to get over onto the camp that you're doing, that's a triple kill. Or should have been.
Dragon started up. They're looking to contest this one without... Oh, no, they do have Curse of the Sad Mummy. That's not a cooldown. All right. Well, regardless, Dragon going to go the way of HPU. It's a Cloud Soul special here in 4 minutes 50 for them, potentially.
Oh, would you look at that? It's Zillion and Lilia with Cloud Soul. Wow. Okay, sure. If you're gonna have a team comp to get Cloud Soul on, good lord.
Yeah, if they had an Olaf in top lane, that's about the maximum, right?
Yeah,
Explosive
that's
is in. They're going to open up the Curtain Call just to try to poke at this Baron. 3,000 health. There's really not a whole lot that our team can do, but they're going to try anyway. Scrams gets the steal. They're going to lose 2 immediately. Saint, do not go in there. Death Lotus shouldn't have gone in there either, for what that's worth. They lose 3 kills immediately, but they get the Baron steal. And now how much are they going to lose off of that? Maybe even more. Duvranga getting chased down. No sleep, though, on Roomba Whack, but he's got his flashback away.
Boy, that's something. Zillion speed up into Shirelia's battle song, and suddenly your AD carry has to burn Flash out of nowhere. I guess you could have definitely also just Gale Forced instead. I feel like that's a little bit of a panic on Devranga's part because Gale Force is much lower cooldown.
Yeah, also they might not have known that he didn't have sleep, because if you get tagged by anything, that could just be death if he has sleep. But
Yeah.
I think that was the critical bit of information he might not have had. Anyway, that Baron Steel. What do you think? Stalls the game a little bit? Worth it? Not worth it?
I
That's
the
like
Baron Steel absolutely worth it. The other two people who went in and died definitely not worth it. But
Baron
I mean
for
I can
3
kind
is
of
like equivalent gold count, right? Typically, but they had the objective
uh
bounty, so it's
ish.
slightly in favor of RTM overall.
It's very slightly in favor of RTM.
Saint is going full Chad on this Gangplank build, though.
Yeah, but I don't know who he's targeting. Like,
Yeah.
who are you killing with this? I could see it if like Zillion and Zaya and Lilia weren't your opponents.
I mean, he does a lot of
Also, he might
damage to
just be
anybody he
following
can
a
hit.
he might just be following a build
Oh,
pet. That's a Chad flash.
he didn't hit the ult. He's still just choosing to chase down Katarina. Now they're going through all the ults. Can Death Lotus actually finish this one off? Fatal Rogue just standing right outside the cannon barrage. Now the curtain's opened up. They get the wind wall out. Fatal Rogue is just playing with our hearts and minds now. He's got to fight his way out of 4 members of our TM. Doing pretty well so far. Almost able to finish off that one. Now the rest of the squad coming in. Geo-based dashing on in. Duvranga has to use his Gale Force back away, but they can't get it. Scrams is still just fighting with Fatal Rogue, and now in comes the Chrono Shift just in time from Luminous, and Scrams should eventually die here. He'll get chased down by the Zaya with the speed boost.
That was an interesting decision. There was a point at which they could have actually ended Fatal Rogue, and it's when Death Lotus went out. Oh,
They're still
yeah,
trying, though.
they're working
Credits to
on it.
them. They
They
got it.
got him.
Another
There we go.
shutdown. Okay, Saint got him. Luminous doesn't have Chrono Shift. He's got to flash away. Saint is in with the Prowler's Claw, but he gets immediately stunned and slept and bashed around. Geo-based finishes him off. The double sleep coming out of Roomba Whack. It's a double kill for the Zaya. Death Lotus just getting the trade off for charity, but HPU is running over this game.
Yeah. No, this is kind of illegal. I feel like there was a point of miscommunication on the initial fight with Fatal Rogue where Death Lotus dropped all of his cooldowns and then got out, but between Divine Sunderer and Nasher's autos with Metsuro's exhaust down, I feel like you can actually kill him because the shield from Shield Bow had just dropped off. Or at least that's the only chance you were gonna have of killing him.
Yeah.
Is the more accurate way of looking at it.
It's more shutdowns being handed over, but it just doesn't really stack up. Like, this gold lead has continued to grow at the rate that it needs to for HPU. They're about to pick up a Cloud Soul. Scram's just going to walk in and find a Mordekaiser. That's not really who he wanted to see there.
No, he was hoping for just about anybody else, actually. I'm a little surprised that Explosive didn't just drop ult on him. I think he really wants this recall. What are you sitting on, my guy? Oh yeah, 2200. He wants to go spend money. Also, he doesn't really get to go... That's kind of interesting that they stopped both of those recalls. Explosive isn't going to get to back before this dragon happens. Not that I think Return of the Middlesticks plans on contesting. They're just giving over Cloud Soul, and I don't think they had an option, honestly.
Yeah, Fatal Rogue is just chasing down Duvranga, looking for the solo kill, playing 80 carry in the current year. Doesn't actually go that badly for him. They get the shutdown as Fatal Rogue bit off a little more than he could chew.
Fatal Rogue is holding his ult.
Yeah, Explosive pulls Death Lotus into the Death Realm, and now the curtain's opened up. There's not really a whole lot more happening, but HPU can continue pushing in with just 4. That's a huge amount of damage from Death Lotus out of nowhere. Curse of the Sad Mummy just onto Explosive from Scrams from the side, looking for anything that they can. They get the Chrono Shift out, and now more CC coming through. They'll get the shutdown onto Mordekaiser. Dash forward. Death Lotus looking for it. Gonna get slept, unfortunately. Oh, not get slept. He's just burning to the passive. Rimboak eventually finishes him off with the help of Geo-based. And now here comes Death Lotus from the side. The barrels? The Prowler's... the gun? Oh, no.
That is very unfortunate. It looked really good initially, and then then we tried to push for too much, I think, is what happened for Return of the Middlesticks there. Because you just got like hard gifted both solo laners from HPU. Like Fatal Rogue is actually holding his ult for uh, summer finals.
That was kind of creepy. I don't know if you had the same experience where it hovered over Scrams and he just said, "Give you a hug," and then teleported out. But
I did not.
yeah.
I'm glad I didn't. Now that you've described that.
Baron started up by HPU. ROTM is not in the same state right now to contest this one. And there's no sneaky W coming in. So Baron for HPU. All 5 members wearing the purple buff. They're wearing the white Dragon Soul as well. Rimbowhack is just very speedy as he goes in looking for any sleeps that he can. He's going to find Scram separated from the rest of the squad. Scram's really doesn't have anywhere to go, and he can't very fast, as that's like a 90% slow for no goddamn reason. This is not really worth narrating, honestly. Double knockup from Matsuro, there's no damage coming forward, and HPU just kind of casually walking in the front door.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Scrams has to die there 100%. I don't feel like Matsuro necessarily does.
Ooh,
I feel
the
like they could have
Flash
given him a
Tornado,
dash out.
trying to get anything he can. Saint uses the Cannon Barrage defensively here. The tower's going down. HPU looking to stamp this one down. Explosive pulls Duvranga into the Death Realm and just starts wailing on him. 80 carry in the current year, lol. But Death Lotus gets slept. It doesn't matter because he is just asleep while the Nexus dies. And now I'm going to go to sleep.
Yeah, that's fair, honestly. Well played to HPU. Looked like, honestly, a completely different team in Game 3. They must have just said fuck it and picked all of the characters that they actually wanted to play the whole series.
Yeah,
Or
really
something.
dominant performance. Really Roomba Whack on this Lilia, 150 CS advantage over Scrams. It's insane. He
Yeah,
uh
that is ridiculous.
he did a little farming, as it turns out. Um,
Some
yeah, I don't really know what the stakes were for that, I'll be honest. So check the MetaShift Discord and see what that was about. But thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. Next stream is Thursday night for Platinum. Darkwind is gonna play their first game of the split. Um, I think that's it. Did I miss anything?
should be. I don't think so.
That's 13 more kills for the kill counters. That's 68 for the 3 game set. It's not bad. That'll be $1.65 per kill for charity. So rough
Math's hard.
napkin math is like $120. That's pretty cool. All right. Thanks, Oath. Appreciate it as always. And we're gonna go raid Lane. Go watch Lane play solo queue.
Huge.
He's playing Renata Glask. He's gonna kick some Renata Ask. I haven't got to cast a Renata game, and I've been saving my Renata puns.
I'm sorry that we haven't gotten to say the hostile takeover sweeps over the enemy team, because that's a fantastic ulti name.
Yeah.
By the way. Cool.
Cool.
Uh,